Welcome back, ladies and gents, to the Jack Link's Wild Side Rumble. We are back at it for day 2. My name is Dia, and you wouldn't have seen me yesterday, but you would have seen the gents by my side. I'm going to check which side I'm looking at right now. There we go. Hello, Why Not? And hello, Kappa. I'm glad to have you guys joining me for an incredible day of Apex Legends.
It's going to be quite the service we're going to have in front of us here today. Going from what we talked in the pre-show straight into it right now, because we have a lot to cover for day number 2. We have 20 teams that have made it through. Let's break it down a bit, Tony. What teams did we see absolutely kick ass and eat Jack Links yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was absolutely incredible. We saw the ultra-aggressive team girl get after literally everybody in the lobby. They were playing it like it was a pub. They were playing like they had somewhere to be, and it worked for those first few games, but then eventually teams caught up to them, like Space Liquid and NDA, No Devos Allowed, were able to overcome them and actually finish in that first and second spot, knocking Team Girl down to third. Now on the other lobby, you had Team Fate and TDM, both of those teams breaking into the triple digits. I'm not joking. 2 teams by the end of 6 games had over 100 points. That just told you how much it was kind of a one-sided affair it was, but they still had other contenders as well, you know, like Free Agents, for example, and Hybrid Theory, and in the end, we're going to find out who's going to be on top of this lobby that's bringing in top 10 of both A and B from yesterday and leaving it all on the line here today.
It's going to be a really exciting time. Now, unlike yesterday where we had 2 different groups competing to see who would show up in the finals today, this is the finals. So, Kappa, can you break down for us how the finals are going to actually work?
So, from my knowledge, we're just going to get straight into the games, and I believe, production, you better yell in my ear if this is different. It is going to be similar to what we saw yesterday in the form of a 6-game format. I believe that's the way we've done things here previously.
No.
And I'm completely out to lunch. So, Tony, I see that face and you're like, whoa, hold the bus, hold the phone cover, spill the beans. What's going on?
Yeah, there's actually going to be a match point format, so it's going to be to the point where you have to hit a certain threshold, and then after that, you have reached what we call match point. And if you pull off the win, you will take the tournament. It really reminds me of like back in the schoolyard basketball days. You know, after both teams got to like 11 or got to 15, however many you played with, it was like, okay, well you have to win by 2. You can't just score a bucket and win. No, you got to win by 2, and that's what it kind of reminds me of. So once you hit that match point threshold, you can win one more game after that and come out on top. So there could be one team that reaches match point but never gets a win afterwards, so a lot of teams behind them come out on top and steal a win for them. And you know, I mean, Adia, I'm sure maybe I might have butchered that. If you want to kind of polish that off a little bit, anything that I might have missed in that explanation.
Yeah, I mean, you've got it exactly. Once you reach over 50 points, as you've clearly stated, teams are capable of doing in these lobbies, then you just got to win that one more game and the prize pool does become yours. We got 4.5 thousand CAD today as the prize pool for these players and for everybody in the Jack Link's Wild Side Rumble. Kappa, you had something to say?
I just had to say, I believe that was the format before. So for those in chat like, yo, this guy knows nothing about Apex, I can assure you, I know a little bit, but the format, that is something that did get by me. So a lesson for me to learn and hopefully for something new to absorb as well as we're about to jump in here. And map-wise, we spoke about it pre-game, Tony. Spill the beans. What map are we going to be dropping in here today for the World Side Rumble?
We're dropping into Kings Canyon once again. A lot of you that have been watching competitive Apex over the last year or so have probably really got used to watching World's Edge and even introducing Storm Point as well, which has been a fantastic map to add to the circuit, adding a little bit of variety there. But now we're going into Kings Canyon, and for those of you who have been playing over the last split and been grinding for Diamond, Masters, or even Predator, you're very familiar with this map. So really excited to see a lot of these teams that have been competing for quite some time might be a little bit new to Kings Canyon, so it's going to be really exciting to watch. And of course, who could we start off other than Team Girl, Kappa?
Oh, Team Girl, what a show yesterday. And we talked about Ladies' Night, not just on a Saturday, all weekend long. It's going to be as they jump right into the belly of this and just spray and pray the havoc, the R99, it's all happening.
already knocking and finishing that squad quickly, bringing us down to 18. Girl did end up going down, but the quick res gonna come in, and luckily nobody coming in for that third party. So armor swaps back up to full health. They clear out this caustic area, should earn themselves some gold weapons if they choose to go that route. That's one of the reasons why a lot of teams will push that caustic area, is that you end up looted out with those containers.
You definitely do. Trying to get some flashbacks yesterday from Knights of Nessie and the kind of plays they were making, a lot more reserved than a lot of the teams in this lobby, and I'm not mad at that. They know there's some high caliber teams, there's a lot of heavyweights around, and they are just taking their time, working the edge of that outer zone, getting the loot they can, and just moving on from there. That is the best play really for a team like this, isn't it? If you're against heavyweights, you've got to take it a step at a time.
Well, Sad and Alone are trying to clear out this area here over toward the containment side of the map. They do have a charged tower that's right in the middle, so if they are able to clear this out and then charge up, they can all get their ultimates and maybe even Valkyrie out of here to get to a better position, or simply be ready for the next fight. But easier said than done. We have two players currently rocking white shields, and Sir Bear, our Bloodhound player, the only player on this team that has blue at the moment.
Sad and Alone might be alone, but making a reach out to give someone some love. A bit of a love tap, bit of an armor break coming in. That alternator not looking too stocked full though. 4 bullets, that is not going to cut the mustard for any attack or defense for that matter. There's the boat. Back at it again here for map number 1.
Yeah, big fan of having the bow off the rip for that early loot. I think they do really harsh damage from that mid to long range, 60 to the body. And let me tell you, if you hit a headshot, you can really be in trouble. And I'm loving the positioning coming out of Knights of Nessie. They're just sitting up high, raining down shots, looking for an opening. Although all three of these teams don't, both of these teams don't have the exact armor that they would want, they're still well positioned. But looks like Knights of Nessie not really happy with it, so they're gonna quickly back down, get a little bit extra loot, and maybe they don't commit to this gunfight. Maybe they rotate out. I mean, there's still 16 squads on the map, so although kill points are really important, at this point I think placement's a little bit more. Maybe they want to rotate out and get themselves into a better position.
100%. That's day 2 mentality right there. That's an experienced gamer's mentality you're talking about there. What they've got right now, positioning is prime. They can work that positioning. The guns, not really worth the dime. They're starting to pick up a bit more value as they go for this reverse loot after a bit of aggression to start things off. But I think it's a good play. This really does reflect what you need to see from an aspiring champion team here for the Jack Links Bold Side Rumble. Take your time, take it easy, and play in your comfort zone.
And now Sad and Alone are probably feeling a lot more confident now. We just saw, god damn, upgrade to a purple shield, and now he's pinging the blue shield for silence, so nobody should have white shields going into this engagement. The Sky needs to come in and get value immediately, getting that hit marker while they're taking no damage. Silent now putting in the damage with the wingman, looking to try to angle out this Gibby player. Things are looking very good for Sad and Alone.
Push, and gonna turn into mush as they will. Sad and Alone, nice little aggression there. Another cleanup and a superstar for Sad and Alone. Their name not speaking anything about what they're put into the main vein today so far. And quite frankly, a lot more rambunctious and active in the early game than they were yesterday too. Love to see it.
Well, I know they're probably not happy to see this hill pull really far northwest, because on Kings Canyon, for these teams that have to make long rotations, it's really tough to do on this map. You know, there's only really like 3 avenues to get across the map, and normally they're actually choked out and usually gate kept. So Kings Canyon, probably the most third-party map, even more so than Olympus, with how little areas you have to traverse to get to the other side. Meanwhile, Team Girl, 2 gold armors, 1 purple. They clearly made it out of caustic, and they are feeling good.
Standard stock here.
Feel good, look good, and hopefully that aim's good too. It should be. They've made it through day 2. The hard work's done, really. You've qualified for that second portion, the money day, as it's known for all these gamers. And you bring up a very good point about this map in particular. There's so little room for you to go across flat plains. It's up the hills, it's dipping and weaving between trees, bullets as well. It's so difficult to make any form of rotation. So you're right, this circle, this is a brutal circle for like the first one coming in for round 1.
Team Girl hunting down a team that once was their prey. They're gonna Valk ult out of there, but it looks like Team Girl having another one in their sights. 484 quickly with the Rampage, and that's enough damage for them to try to collapse on this. Team Girl very confident in this lobby, almost as much as they were in lobby A of day number 1. We see the Valk Q come in. That team gonna put an early bubble in, so not gonna have that for any more defense. Now gonna finish off this player here, immediately putting them within a 3v2, and it looks like they're going up against that former EMGG roster, Moosey and Simply Meg. We saw them actually play really well. It was actually a really funny moment where Simply Meg went down in front of Chaotic Much yesterday in the final game. She shakes her head no. Chaotic Much then shakes his head yes, and then decides to nade himself and joins her in being down. He tweeted her afterwards saying, look, we just tried to have some fun. It was the final game, so I wanted to troll a little bit, and it was a really funny Twitter moment. I'm going to probably tweet it out after this because it was hilarious.
Rest in peace. That's a definite rest in peace mode. But that's what it's about, isn't it? In the competitive of Apex. Have some fun with it. Live and you learn, you're networking as well. These gamers, though, in particular, they're gonna be money hungry today, Tony, I'd say.
That they are Team Girl. Obviously, they're hungry indeed. They Valk ult not only to get into a better position, but also to reveal the position of the enemy team. That Skyward Dive combined with the Valkyrie passive lets Team Girl know exactly where their opponents are, and looks like they're looking to collapse. You're seeing 3 members now start to spread out and surround this building. They're gonna make them feel the pressure, and with that storm closing in behind them, Team Girl are in an ample position to collapse and ultimately win this gunfight. But they are going up against TDM, another stun roster. Was able to finish off with triple digits yesterday, but the first one goes down immediately. Now you're seeing the Horizon ult come in, and this is gonna be a decent for TDM. Excellent. Oh, 99 shots to fire back. That's gonna be a double knock, leaving Durango Legend by himself here, though. Can Durango Legend pull off the piv, as he's actually gonna try to use this as an escape route and try to get out of the situation, or at least play the battery here?
I like this. Take a step back from the action. Grab your breath. Be altered a little bit after what on earth just happened, and go back in for more. You do if you're TDM, but that isn't going to be the move. Go take it. We take those, and they will take 3 of those. 1, 2, and 3. A squad wipe for us to see in front of our eyes for day 2. Go. Just going wild thing. All of them.
And look at Team Girl out here. That is respect right there. A lot of people probably think that's bad manners or maybe some teabags, but no, they're trying to perform CPR on the enemy's team box. They're trying to bring them back to life, but sadly, that's not going to be enough. Luckily, Team Faith bringing Faith back to life after being knocked right back into the action. Loba comes up immediately and then bracelets out of the situation so she can be able to heal. That's some of the value that Loba brings. Not only is she a master of obtaining loot in a stationary position, but on top of that, she can use her bracelet to get in and out of either a non-advantageous position or even a better position than they actually are by taking height, so on and so forth. OYO sitting on the top left-hand corner of the screen. Looks like they're like not to chase down their opponents and instead loot up a bit, take their time. You know, at this point, there's still 11 squads on the map, and don't want to make any mistakes here.
No, you don't want to make any mistakes. So you're not really going to be starting with that running foot forward. Perhaps just a bit of a jog before you get into that sprint. And Team Faith, the team, the dream team, I want to say from yesterday, the way they were performing. The OGs as well. Just needs a spicy start, but almost catching the team off their takeoff of Valkyrie. That could have been a bad takeoff.
High risk, high reward, but AHP able to now come into the action. They see all of this. They see all of this action going on this side of the map, so they want to get involved. So they're going to immediately take a position that they can shoot from long range, especially with the charge rifle in the hands of Seraph. This is an absolute legend of a weapon. It can boost up your shield so easily, and then eventually, once he gets the red armor, what's going to happen is he's going to swap out that armor with one of his teammates and try to upgrade even more purple armor on his team. The charge rifle can absolutely creep another team and also provide value in upgrading your shields. Not the best weapon for getting knocks, but definitely the best weapon for farming that damage. And OYO in trouble here at Kappa.
Uh-oh. Might be more of the title name if they keep up this kind of antics. Looking to make a good play, though. They're not getting too hyper. They know, okay, we're 1 player down. Maybe we can get that banner, but biggest thing. Let's keep ourselves alive. And that's what they're going for, the positional portion. Trying to get some high ground as well. HP on the prowl too. Just hunting. Peeling back those corners like an envelope, nice and slowly, like that birthday card that you know's got money inside. You just don't know how much, and that's entire lobby. There's so many players that you've got to be afraid of, and you've got to treat this lobby with respect.
Absolutely. And so it looks like respect is not given, it is earned, and we're seeing somebody demand respect, forcing the Gibby player to come in and force the early bubble. Luckily, an excellent game going to deny access or at least slow down the enemy team, but he ends up going down anyway. That's going to leave Fragment, our Valkyrie player, by themselves, trying to use some cheeky movement to get out of the situation, but the storm is closing in, so having nothing to do at this point but to try to skyward dive. Makes it into the sky, still has a decent amount of armor and health, so he will be able to get away from the situation and most likely ratted out for the entire for the rest of this game.
The response is the heavier hands. That's Team Faith delivering the backhand hit. Looking to serve up many other a slap to the rest of the lobby. We are just dipping into the top 10 now as well. 8 squads do remain. And even Team Faith, a team that we saw yesterday, I want to say running it down, charging opponents down. They are taking their time. What does that tell you, Tony?
It definitely says this lobby is a lot different than what we saw in day number 1. There are formidable opponents here. We saw in lobby 1, lobby A, I should say, there was 3 teams that really stood themselves apart from the rest of the lobby. In lobby B, there was 2 teams that were able to reach triple digits, but now you have everybody coming together. You're having the best of the best. That just requires all these teams to slow things down and not make any mistakes. You can't treat it like a pub anymore. Like you said before, you have to respect your opponents. Otherwise, one false move and you're right down to the lobby much earlier than expected.
Oh yeah, and you'll be wondering about all the frags that you potentially could have received. The black market, an option of how you can receive a few more weapons, but yeah, if you peek, you get punished in these lobbies, and none of these players want to have their hands slapped for putting it in the cookie jar just yet. Sneaky beaky like, and hoping for a couple of presents, but no presents are given for free here. Nothing at all. Look at the barren waste. Look at the gap between the teams right now.
8 squads, 21 players physically on the map. We're always seeing another 50-50 gunfight. This time it's going to be OGs chasing down their opponents. The number 1 Watson main ends up being the first one to go down, putting his team at an immediate disadvantage. Now OGs are going to have time to quickly heal up and play this exact the way they want to, applying pressure and just simply playing their numbers, and that's exactly what they do. Katy Perry ends up hitting the down as well. That's going to leave Valkyrie by themselves for Rad Boys, and Valkyrie trying to do everything they can to get out of the situation, trying to survive the situation, even grabs a battery, but I don't know if that's going to be enough, Cuppa.
You can't run. You might be able to hide, but you cannot run forever. Valkyrie doing everything within their power. Fighting fire with fire. Fight the Fist of Fury with a Fist of Fury, and oh, this is not looking good at all.
OG still on the hunt. You see the Bloodhound scan coming in, detecting 2 targets here. That's gonna let them know exactly where the enemy team is. They finish off one, but there's one more player that's still alive, being an absolute nuisance, and Valkyrie gonna rotate right into a whole nother player here. So nothing going well here for, I believe, it's Promise of the Real, and eventually they fall. And actually, even so much, they wanted that kill so much, they dropped they dropped the Horizon, the black hole, just to secure that one. And now we're down to 7 squads. Team Girl coming into the party as you see Envy Messiah start to rotate over, and we're seeing that might be a gunfight later on, but we're gonna hop on board with NDA and see how they plan to rotate into the hill and if they plan to introduce themselves to that party as well.
That is funny. That was so overkill. We're just going to get the ult, get this over with. I do not want to mess around with this anymore. Get them out the server. That's what you got to do. And if you don't do that quick enough, your position's going to be given away. It was already, they had just had enough. And talking about enough, get some hang time, girl. Let's go.
Time and time again, we've seen Chaotic Much take to the skies with that Horizon Q and hit all of their shots on the way up. The elevation, the recoil control coming out of Chaotic Much is absolutely absolutely insane. We've seen him actually hold off a 1v3 by himself.
Sir.
While Girl played a res just yesterday. It shows you how strong they are. And OGs going down 2 players. They're feeling the pressure coming in out of Team Girl. And now they're down to 1 player as well. We might be down to 6 squads remaining very soon here.
Sunny day in the server. It must feel like a vacation here for the likes of Girl. Just walking through the beach, feet in the sand, and whoa, they're feeling grand. Frag after frag after frag. 9 frags right now. 9 frags for Chaotic. Holy.
Team Girl were able to put up 69 points yesterday. Nice, but not enough to get the #1 spot. Today, they are going for #1, but so are plenty of other teams, including Team Faith, who are trying to collapse here on Team Jan Sports Bag. They're currently trying to run away from the situation, and Team Girl are hearing all of the commotion, and it looks like they're going to try to collapse here. So eventually, Team Fate might end up becoming the sandwich right in between Jan Sports Bag also and Team Girl. Team Fate needs to be aware of this. The pressure is coming.
It's a double-decker, maybe a triple-decker sandwich right now. There are so many fillings, too many condiments even, and too much meat.
And there's the third-party situation we were talking about before. We saw Team Girl start to rotate towards this gunfight, and now Faith, who were already putting shots onto Jan Sports Bag, who weren't able to finish those kills, are in between both of these teams, and with that hill closing in here. Team Girl still trying to apply pressure, still trying to finish off some of these knocks and finish off some of these players, but they're taking heavy damage, so they have to slow things down. Luckily, they're playing the edge of circle, so they're not forced to overextend. They're not forced to rotate into a situation that they don't want to be in. They're still comfortably in the storm, and round 5 hill is not going to be closing out for another minute and 22 seconds.
It's Girl, man. It's at their pace. Like, no one's rushing them. No one's rushing them to get ready and get sorted. They move when they want to move, and the move is now. Like that first move in chess, and every time they move, they get checkmate. Absolutely insane plays all weekend long.
Diff going all the way down to 1 shot, forced to play the battery and the medkit. Girl has a nice little angle though, so if anybody tries to push that situation,
oh, that
nade! 30-30, and 1 grenade gonna crack 2 players, and that's gonna be, I believe that's, I want to say that's NDA or free agents. That's Pubsky, Bro Dom. They're over there, they're taking nades left and right, and that is Team Girl that are gatekeeping them out of the situation. They want to get into a better position. They want to get into better real estate. The problem is Team Girl are holding them out.
Call them the Grenadiers, Team Girl. That was such a sick throw from Girl in particular as well. It's an airstrike. Wasn't an ultimate, but it felt like it.
Team Girl continuing to gatekeep them out, using that height advantage to make sure that they stay alive and have all the angles that they want. Meanwhile, Team Fates are not that far behind, and it looks like Masai gonna get absolutely ripped and taken down. Luckily, Deegs was there to pick up the pieces, and now Valkyrie Q coming in. Deegs has a very important role. Deegs has to hold off this push almost by himself with the Havoc and doing an excellent job of doing that, hitting both players with the Havoc. Now the calls are going to come in, and Deegs single-handedly holding off the push and scaring that team away. Get off my lawn, says Deegs, as they're able to not only come in, but also get the revive on their teammate. Excellently played by Deegs and Team Faith.
So well played indeed. Team Faith. You better get used to hearing that name if you're just tuning in for the first time today. It's a household name here at the Worldside Rumble. Taking a jump out that jerky and just making it look easy, really. But now things are going to start to come down to a bit of a finer margin. As the top few teams start to gather. 4 teams still alive somehow, Tony. Where are they? They're all here.
Team Faith start off the engagement going after Jan Sport backpack, and they're able to take them down finally, bringing us down to 4 squads. And look at their positioning. They still have this entire house to work with. They still have all of the elevation. I love the position that they're in right now. The only problem is that in 33 seconds, that storm will start to close in, and it will force Team Faith to relocate. But that's going to be the same for multiple teams in the situation here. Team Girl sitting on the low ground, caustic gas out, trying to make this defendable position. Excellent shots coming in out of Chaotic. much, but now he's taking Arc Stars. Gore ends up going down quickly. That's going to be a knock and a complete banner coming out of Girl. So that's going to leave Dip Chaotic by themselves. Excuse me, actually Chaotic literally by himself, the final player alive for Team Girl.
Oh, the battle off is happening. All down to one lonely player. It is going to be the high fragger though. It is Chaoticable. Can Chaotic be the crutch to climb up this high ground, to take on the fraggers? So much to do.
Team Fate sitting in their ultimate positioning right now through all three players currently having red shields and utilizing that Loba Ulta or that black market boutique to just steal away the resources from all of those dead boxes that are around. And it's their game to lose at this point. Team Fate just have way 100%. Too much advantage in this gunfight. Final 3 squads remaining, Kappa, and my money's on them.
I've got to say, I've got to have, we both got to faith, my friend. And we do because of the positioning. We do because of the econ, the armor, you name it, they've got it. And placement might just be what they're going to pick up here to boot as well. You got to feel for those other teams, Tony. Like, it's just 2 versus 1 in the sense of the team play here. And yeah, it is over.
Yeah, but down to the final 2 squads. Z's ends up getting the knock onto Bro Dodom. The defensive bombardment coming in to try to slow them down. Fate going down to by himself.
There it is.
Finally able to find that player with the self-revive. Finishes them off, and that's game number 1.
The links are falling all over the place. The jerky is being eaten in celebration, and that is a nice takeaway there. A nice takeaway from a team. Earned that completely. Not necessarily about gunfights. Positioning is what they use to their advantage, and game 1 over and done.
And probably one of the only teams not rocking a Gibby in their composition going into the final lobby here. We saw the Loba, we saw the Horizon, and obviously having that Valkyrie, just showing that, hey, you can get creative with your compositions, and clearly it can work if you're seeing some of the best steal away game number 1 of day 2.
Oh, hello. Do you see what I see on the screen there, Tony?
I do, and you know what, guys? We have a question for you guys in the chat. If you guys want to win some excellent prizes, all you got to do is put up the answer to this, and you could be selected to be the winner of it. Get yourself a little bit of jerky, get yourself a little bit of Apex coins, get yourself a little bit of prizes. How many legends did the game launch with? A6, B8, C7, D9. I will be honest with you, Kappa. I didn't play Season 0. I didn't play Season 1. I came in a little bit later to the game on Apex, so
okay,
it might be hard, but you know what? I think there's a cheat to figure this out. You know, I'm not going to give you guys an answer, but you know, there's a little cheat. You can open up the game and probably figure it out. I'll give you guys a little hint there.
that is exactly the pro tip that you're going to get from Tony and I. Definitely have a look in the client. Maybe you could refresh your memory to how many legends the game started with. While you're doing that, we're going to have a little bit of a tactical time out here before we come back to you with the rest of the match point day here of the Worldside Rumble featuring Apex Legends from Jack Links. Catch you shortly.
Jack Links presents Messin' with Sasquatch.
Watch this.
Don't mess with other snacks. Choose Jack Links jerky made with 100% beef. Jack Links presents Messin' with Sasquatch.
Watch this.
Don't mess with other snacks. Choose Jack Links jerky made with 100% beef.
Hopefully you know what to expect by now, but if you don't, let me give you a little overview. It's match point, it's day number 2 of the Jack Links World Side Rumble, and to one side I have Dia, the other side I do have Tony, why not? But before we do that, let's get down to business, what really matters, the Apex coins, and 8 legends. How many legends did the game launch with of Apex Legends? 8, the game initially launched with Wraith, Bangalore, Gibraltar Lifeline, Pathfinder, Bloodhound, Mirage, Caustic, and as the only available legends. So we were going off backstage to talk about that as well. So much has changed. So much has changed in the meta since the birth of this game. But from the birth until right here, right now on day 2 of $4,500 available, what happened in the game just gone? Tony, give us the breakdown, fam.
Yeah, I mean, you had Team Fate that used that ultimate high ground position to just steal that win away. I mean, they combined their placement points with those kill points, almost matching Team Girl, the ultra aggressive Team Girl, what I say, in kills, but also just really soaring ahead in points. Team Girl having the most kills in lobby, that's going to give them enough to actually steal away second place. And NDO, no Devos allowed, coming in with 15 total points. And someone should tell Team Fate that, because Deke has definitely been running he definitely ran double Devo in the game all yesterday. Literally ran 100%. Double Devo. I feel like that was just to make NDA mad.
I think there was a bit bit of salt thrown at the opponent there, a bit of a Salt Bay action, hey? Assaulted per se, some may say. But whatever it is, we have got plenty more action coming up for the next lobby. And it is going to be Dia and why not Mr. Tony taking the stage for that. Before we jump into it, we saw a really slow game for the start of things. And as expected, you go into day 2, a lot more thought out plays, a lot more thought out executions. What do you want to see out of game number 2, Dia? Are you hoping for a particular kind of play? Obviously, you've just come from the EMA qualifiers. What are you hoping to see perhaps of that level to be introduced here for game number 2?
Kappa, I gotta say, I'm scared. You said that was a slow game. That was the most action I've seen all morning. Like, that was so crazy. People were just fully sending at each other the entire time. And that slow, I cannot wait to see how much more wild today gets. I do think that one of the things that we got to keep our eyes on, though, is Space Liquid, that we're unable to make it out into the top 15 teams. They didn't get any points for this game, and as such, I think that that's one of our favorites that just didn't really get any time in the sun and now finds themselves significantly behind in match point. I think the other thing that we've always got to look out for, though, is that Sad and Alone want to make their comeback. They did win that last TGS Apex event, and they've made a significant bump into their points. I believe they are sitting at 15 right now, a quarter of the way to match point.
Yeah, and I think from what I just said, yesterday was run it down day because it was sort of the day 1 to qualify in. I'm just settled into this day 2 pace, but you are right. There were moments there that were highly explosive, and you want to focus on one play in particular. Look at the kill points we just saw in the leaderboard. That is Go. And as you said, Tony, just so many frags. I think it was 9 all said and done from Chaotic Much by the end of that. So if those kill points can be combined with some placement points and a better performance in that sense from Girl, I do think Girl are going to be soaring away to the top and to take Team Faith down.
Yeah, they actually totaled out with 13 kills total between the entire team. Like you said, Chaotic Much bringing up about 9 of that, which was really impressive. But I mean, we got to talk about that Team Faith pulling up 11 as well. You know, obviously 13 is higher than 11, but then having the 12 placement points for actually winning the game is what set them over the edge. Only up by 5 points, though. We can see Team Girl along with NDA or even Sad and Alone creep up. And like you said, don't forget about Space Liquid and some of the other ones that could pull up the rear. In match point system, you can reach match point and not get a win for sometimes 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5 games, allowing everybody else at the bottom of the list to kind of get their way over to the left side.
So have Faith maybe now expended too much of their good juju? Will they be cursed with second place but fragging out from here on out? We're going to find out. A second drop right on top of Kings Canyon is going to bring us all of the action. Last time, Sad and Alone went off over by Rig, but where are we going to be starting off with the action first this time around? Why not?
You're seeing pings going left and right here. A lot of teams landing towards that Hydro Dam area, and NDA sitting over towards Octane's Gauntlet. They're looking to get it to some early KP early here. I will say, not the best loot, but as far as like having open space to work with, as far as working with those jump pads to be able to close the distance on your opponents, this is probably one of the most fun places to fight in.
I gotta be honest with you, why not? I absolutely would have gone for that purple shield. Everybody sitting on whites right now has got to be terrified, but NDA are waiting to be able to send this one over to the Knights of Nessie, who interestingly enough are one of our teams that are running the Gibraltar. NDA just the same, having this reset button for when we get to close range combat, but for right now, using the Rampage to poke out at each other. Somebody needs to find a crack, an opening, because otherwise these teams are trapped here and they're gonna get third-partied real fast.
It looks like NDA was using that purple shield as a bit of bait, waiting for their opposition to try to fly in there and steal away that purple shield so they can melt them with the Rampage and other weapons, but it finally didn't happen. They got enough loot to warrant them to balloon out of this and try to relocate to a different area. We do know that Team of Faith love to land around this rig area and steal that ultimate high ground, so NDA better be careful of that. They could be lurking anywhere.
Nice move from NDA as well. Once they recognized that the Loba ultimate was used, that there's going to be a big loot disparity between these guys, and that purple shield is going to be taken away from them with no questions asked. TDM on the other side of this aren't going to be experiencing too much early action. Instead, their game is going to be information-based, and OGs want a slice of that information pie.
That they do. Oh, geez. pushing out of this map room here. I thought we were going to see a collapse coming in, but for good reason, they're going to rotate out because the R301
Tony.
shots are hitting, coming out of TDM. Tony absolutely ripping it. And not me. The other Tony, NWA Tony, the more important one.
The one who is going crazy on our screens right now with the 301. Bangalore smokes are out, and if somebody's feeding their wild side, it is TDM. They're going crazy with their snacking game. You too can do it by going to jacklinks.ca. We'll see how long this fight goes on as Tony may have expended a little bit too much energy, now taking a break, taking a breather, finding a shield swap, and continuing the fight. Oh geez, have one knocked.
TDM clearly want the beef and are acting like a bunch of jerks right now, just hunting down their opponents. One ends up getting knocked quickly. They're going to finish that off, and we should see some early loot coming in out of Tony. Arbor swap, and now has some ammo for his car. But meanwhile, Matei, our caustic player, is going to take some heavy damage for us to slow things down and play that battery. TDM want to hunt this team down, but they better be careful.
Forced to disengage for right now. You do have a lot of movement speed with the Bangalore, especially through that smoke. But with TDM chasing you down, they're actually getting shot at themselves, buying Tony a little bit more time to go crazy, chasing him down constantly. Tony is going to be running through the Rolling Thunder in an attempt to disengage from the opposite team, running into two people, and with the zone starting to close in behind them. We are running straight toward zone, but Shamo is going to go down, and it's another chunk out of the OGs.
Yeah, the final player is going to be Ash, and luckily for Ash, he does have that portal, so if they do get too close to a portal out of it, the problem is that it is a one-way portal, and TDM can take it as well if they choose to pursue it. Either way, TDM taking down two players, getting that early KP points, and now with round one hill closing in and moving into round two, it looks like they're changing their sights to head towards that edge of circle.
I like that they're rounding this out, not choosing to go through cage. So often being trapped in that valley will kill you, and instead TDM are wandering around seeing if they can find any folks that are going late on the rotation, coming from places like Labs, Swamps, Rig, or even Capacitor. Because if nobody landed in Labs, is clearly not the case. You do have a bunch of loot here, and if they are late looting it, you'll be able to take them out. TDM don't mind taking zone 1 damage. It is not that much.
It really isn't, and with this route they're taking, it's definitely a much more safer way. I've definitely pushed into cage way too many times, run into a team that's ratting it out towards the top with snipers and charge rifles and absolutely melting me. I'm like, you know what? Maybe we should take a longer route, a safer route like they're taking. Meanwhile, HP, they want no safety whatsoever. They want to fight, and as of right now, they're holding out that team over towards the east side. They have perfect position. They have a decent amount of height. They have a decent amount of cover. They're ready to fight this team that's going to eventually try to push towards them.
Very similar compositions for both of these squads. One running the Bloodhound, the other running the Ash. But instead of engaging in the fight, AHP are going to use their ability to take to the skies and avoid all of this, leaving Jansport backpack with a lot of information, but nobody to kill.
And AHP going to use this opportunity to be able to skyward dive into an even better position, going to land quickly onto 82. This is going to provide them a lot of elevation, be able to look over almost the entire lobby here. And with 19 squads remaining, intel really being key in this, and the more information they're able to gather, the better they're able to coordinate a plan. I really like this play coming out of AHP, and I also like me some fights. And Team Girl, of course, they found yet another 3v3 engagement.
We return to this very same POI as well. It's so funny to be coming back to Hydro Dam and seeing even more teams fighting in this area. Girl do disengage temporarily. Chaotic Munch does not have that much effective health left, but they do not have the Valkyrie ultimate ready to disengage. They used it to get here, and now they've got to stay and fight. Girl on the Caustic will be able to provide them some much needed staying power, but they gotta be wary of frags.
And I'm trying to figure out, is it Team Girl or is it Team Girl? Like, I think I need to add the little upward inflection to it, as Diff rocking the gold Havoc, even having a bruiser onto it. He does see that enemy team start to portal out of it. They're going to end up going through the sport, so that's early damage coming in, and it looks like Diff wants to take advantage of it. Beautiful shots coming in, going to force them to immediately back down and relocate, but Team Girl not dropping down for this. I wonder if they're going to elect to actually just rotate away from this, or if they're going to elect to chase that team down.
valuing the high ground quite a bit right now. DiffQ is the one that could drop down, especially on this Valkyrie. You've got a lot of vertical movement for later. 68 crack is crazy, and goddamn is going to end up going down.
I think I had a little bit too much fun saying that name. You want to say it again?
I really do. I'll wait till I finish off. There we go. There goes. Goddamn.
Team Girl gonna finish off that play. So that's gonna be some easy loot coming in. And like you said before, it's round 1 hill. They can tank it a bit, but in 16 seconds, it's gonna start to turn to round 2. It's gonna take a little bit harder than that. And obviously round 3, that's when you really want to start avoiding the storm.
Exactly. But right now, Girl have plenty of time to actually what looks like loot up so that they can then redeploy out of here. We've still got to make our way in towards zone, and Chaotic Much is not near the rest of his party. Needing to move through Cage and maybe into that deadly valley that we talked about earlier. If you actually want to make it into the zone in time before it starts closing. 2 minutes left on this, but plenty of squads between Team Girl and safety.
And it looks like Team Fate, another heavy hitter, getting into an engagement outside of containment here. Deeg sitting up high with the 3x on the R301. You see the Q coming early to try to stun. Nobody home on that one just yet, but they're separating a bit. They're trying to angle out the enemy team and surround them.
Golden Lotus now taken down. I'm seeing Space Liquid start to light up the kill feed, and it looks like it's only getting crazier. Deeds gets taken down by the charge rifle, and it is doing work for Fun FPS.
This is the same exact position that we've seen the likes of Team Fate take advantage of. They've sit up high. They usually have weapons such as the charge rifle or the 30-30, and they play the mid to long game. But now we're seeing Team 15, which I believe is Space Liquid, just doing the exact same strategy, sitting in the exact same god spot. It's going to be very hard to get him out of this position, Dia.
Bronzy's having a laugh as well. Looking at the roster, he's changed his name to 3 times retired Bronzy. Recently retiring from his position over in the ALGS as Ghost looked for a different sort of strat, and Bronzy looks for new options. I like that he's having a little bit of fun with the rest of us. We'll see how much more fun he can have inside of this lobby. Rad Boys, for the moment, they're the ones that have found an engagement, but are playing this one slow and carefully. This is a much more relaxed game than we saw last time, even though we've got so many teams trading, so many people individually going down. 18 squads still remain, and that is a totally different pace than we had last time.
And can I say, I love the rotation coming out of Rad Boys. They found a backway entrance towards this edge of circle that's really safe for them. So they're really playing the safety game. And if they want to fight towards the edge, they can perfectly do so. Now they have some purple shields, got some great loot coming in from this drop. I'm loving the way Rad Boys are playing this rotation, but still 17 squads on the map.
Looking good for the Rad Boys as they get the opportunity to pick up a little bit more loot. Little do they know that they are in range of a charge rifle, because as long as you can be seen, you can be hit. For the moment, they are blissfully unaware of that fact. Ignorance, it really does make you happier for the moment. As they try and get into the zone next, it seems like Girl are struggling a little bit on that very same journey. They've taken a very long way around. Round 2 is about to start closing, and we can only assume, after seeing the knock here onto Chaotic Munch, that they're starting to run out of meds.
That they are. Chaotic Much ends up going down, but right back up and trying to play the Phoenix. I wonder if he's going to have enough time to actually play this out. And no, Chaotic Much ends up getting knocked again. Frustration must be setting in. I could have swore I had enough time to play that Phoenix, and sadly, they do not. And like you said, with round 2 heal closing in, going into round 3, it's going to be even less time to heal off of that.
Good guy DiffQ, though, does drop him a syringe, so now you've got the time to start to hopefully pull this off. I might go for another syringe, my man. The dramatic tension around Chaotic Munch's healing is starting to tick away at me. Phoenix Kit goes off, and it is the least clutch I've ever cast in my life.
I mean, so we've seen some interesting action so far. It has been an absolutely amazing day 2, but somehow that still tops it as my favorite moment of the tournament so far. That was the most tense moment here in Apex Legends. 15 squads remaining, 40 players on the map. Team Fates find a way to get in towards the circle. Meanwhile, Fire are trying to do the same thing, but they're having a much harder time. So instead of trying to fight, they're literally trying to valk out of there, but didn't have the cover from the rocks that they thought they did. So now Chaotic at the reset, and it looks like our Valkyrie player does go down, leaving Humble God by himself. Humble God trying to defend away two, gonna use that drop. Shield takes down one, beautifully played, but he needs to res up.
Good stuff from Rumble God. Much like their festival, Fire's redeploy does not go well. Rumble God is still able to make a killing off of it. Picks up that KP, Hybrid Theory finishing it off, and now entering into a boatload of loot in front of them.
Hybrid Theory giving them much more than a paper cut right there, taking them down and out of the lobby. Team Faith on yet another hunt as they're collapsing, but one ends up going down. That's actually going to be Deeks, leaving Faith and NV Messiah by themselves. NV Messiah with R301, excellent shots and excellent movement, being very cheeky with it, and just buying enough time for Faith to pull off the res onto Deeks, and although Deeks ends up going up and gets armor swung, it looks like Messiah is going to go down.
GuhRL are going for this, though. It's exactly the same play. Going up onto the height with the gravity lift, and now popping down. They got the chance to open the door, shatter the shield. Chaotic Munch feeds them yet another kill, and Faith are gone. Our winners from game one eviscerated by Team GuhRL.
Team GuhRL coming out on top in that gunfight, and that's going to be really well played for them, because obviously not only do they live and make it into the top 10, but they also take down one of the other heavy hitters, like you said, the #1 team coming into game number 2, and take them right out of the lobby. So that's just points that they simply can't earn. Meanwhile, Space Liquid doing a lot better than 15th place last game. They are sitting here comfortably in the top 10 and have that God spot, have the ultimate positioning that everybody's going to be fighting for.
Yeah, Zone's been going pretty darn slow, and one of the big things about having the position you talked about is that it's so hard to challenge. The only ways in are bridges, sort of pseudo choke points, with a single zip line on the other side. The access to try and actually contest Space Liquid at a range that you can manage is nearly impossible, and with that, everybody's mostly leaving them alone. Even AHP ignoring the center of the map, knowing that they likely can't get the care package in. There we go. That's the reminder of why they can't.
You're seeing the power of the charge rifle. Let me tell you, man, when they package the charge rifle, I'm going to be completely nerfed. At that point, I'm just going to uninstall. Because, again, it's not the best weapon for getting knocks, not the best weapon for stealing away kills, but it can farm damage and really control the pace of a lot of these engagements. If you understand how to play the space and you have a good charge rifle player, they'll farm your shields, they'll drop sticks apparently like Diff does, and they will really control the fight as GuhRL going right into the action off the screen, going right in, but luckily able to take the med kit right before going down. Diff on the outside looking in, gonna catch a grenade himself.
He'll keep going for these kills as well. The rest of the team joining them as they find almost wingman shots landing. It's going to be DipQ that ends up going down, leaving Chaotic Munch to clean things up. With Rad Boys eliminated, Carrie Perry is not living her teenage dream, and will have to be instead thinking about how to win a next game.
And although GuhRL and Diff end up going down, you gotta admire the amount of damage they were able to do. They definitely made their presence known and made things as easy as possible for Chaotic to come in and get those cleanup kills. So, I mean, damage, communication, that was a well-timed collapse coming in out of GuhRL, and luckily for them, they were able to get right back up and healed back up before anybody else decides to get involved.
I am wondering exactly how many feet this squad has actually moved, because unlike everyone else who have covered so much distance this game to get into this ring, Space Liquid are sitting tight. They don't even think about the chances of what would it look like if we Balgulted our way out of here? What would it look like if we got on top of another team? They are happy, and the zone continues to pull to them, rewarding their satisfaction with what Kings Canyon has given them.
I mean, I'm sure they have plenty of steps on their pedometer. I mean, they got the treadmills out, you know. They're moving. They ain't going much very far, but they're definitely moving. Meanwhile, this is a very interesting strategy here. We're sitting inside the skeleton, which normally has no cover, but we have about there's 6 caustic cans being used here. I don't think I've ever seen this before.
They're preparing for the release of Newcastle. That's what this is. They're waiting for the opportunity to be able to set up and actually take somebody down from behind. Cover Tarango, Legend. He almost goes down. He gets taken out. TDM are gone.
Let me tell you something. I don't know if this is exactly a winning play, but you know what? It's a damn fun one. I'm loving it. Absolutely griefing that player and their entire team placement as Team Girl find yet another one, bringing us down to 6 squads, and you see that Seer ult coming in. Lots of information for the opposing team that be very tough to fight, but they find the heart, put it down, and now that Seer ult is gone, and Team Girl want to take advantage.
They're just at the edge of this ring, still in range of Space Liquid. With the reload, Chaotic Munch is going to destroy Hybrid Theory. Taking a look at the kill feed, it seems like a Kraber's been found as well. Space Liquid still in front of Girls, still their biggest problem, are going to become an even bigger one when we consider the fact that now they can one-shot you from a million miles away.
And can we talk about the shots coming in out of Chaotic Watch? Again, going up the horizon Q, not going to throw off his aim whatsoever. He is ripping shots, and that team stuck towards that skeleton area. Most likely, they will be hunted down. Final 3 squads remaining. Team Girl not yet in the hill just yet, but we do have Space Liquid. Again, that ultimate high ground. Like you said, not really moving much, and they don't have to. The circle is going towards them.
Top 3 teams now, and you're running towards Space Liquid. I don't know how long you're going to last, but you're opening up to a third party if as Space Liquid you try and take this fight, especially up against the height. But FPS is going to have to land one heck of a headshot right now, and he's prepping for it. He sees the character model outlines. He is waiting for these last barrels to come in. It's going to be a game of patience. Likely checking the other side. He's going to get it. He's going to Oh!
Whoa.
Not quite! By an inch that Kraber shot misses.
Probably less than an inch, probably a centimeter, if anything, but sadly, Fun not able to connect. And you notice how Space Liquid moved up towards these buildings. They were trying to really hold out Team Girl over towards the outside, who have to play their way in. 116 across the board out of the Kraber, but it looks like our opposing team were able to take advantage, bound bolting right to their god spot. Team Space Liquid find one that's going to be Dip that goes down. Girl's going to join them, and that brings us down to 2 squads, 3v3 action. But it is Space Liquid that no longer has that ultimate high ground.
It was such a fast rotation, though, such a fast kill that Space Liquid now have the chance to turn around all red Evos. Bronzy is 1v3ing right now. His shields aren't even broken, and well, Fun FPS doesn't quite get the knock out of the sky. He's gonna find the win with the rest of his team. What a game from Space Liquid. They are the wildest of the lobby.
They really are. Space Liquid sitting towards this area for as long as possible, not moving to a single other POI for almost the entirety of the game. You did see them move towards the edge again to hold out Team Girl for as long as possible till they secured that win, and then they go up in a 3v3 scenario where, like you said, they had 3 players with triple red. Their opponents triple blue. Simply not enough to net them a win on that one, but Space Liquid bouncing back after that not so happy game number 1.
Yeah, the 16-point finish, 16th place finish likely isn't what they were going for, but think about who was consistent between these 2 games. Think about who's likely closest to match point. I'm thinking of Team Girl. Those guys were crazy in this game, and again, we had another exceptional performance from Chaotic Munch, who now should be around that, I'm going to call 40, 50 point mark for a match point game. These are going to go crazy. A reminder, go ahead and answer these questions in chat, as we'll be asking them all day, and you've got the chance to win prizes.
And I don't know the answer to this one. Which season first added comics to the game? A, Season 4, Season 6, Season 7, or Season 5? Make sure you guys put your answer in, and you can win yourself some really cool prizes. Again, we're talking some merch, we're talking some Jack Link's beef jerky, maybe even some Apex coins, plenty of rewards being spread across the board.
I gotta be honest with you. Why not? I am not the person to ask that question. I thought it was Season 1. I don't even know. I don't even know. I haven't. The comics they're such a separate part of my game experience. It feels like forever since they added them in. However, if you're looking for an experience of your own, and perhaps Apex isn't really your thing, or you want to get deeper involved with shooters, it's a reminder that National Jerky Day is coming up on June 12th, and to celebrate that, we'll be bringing you a 3rd event in the Wild Side Rumble series, this time featuring Valorant. So if you're enjoying the Apex action, you want to get involved with a little bit more of a tactical shooter, I'd sign up at tgs.gg/jacklinks-val. That's JACKLINKS-VAL. think on that, maybe throw a register our way, and then we'll be right back with even more Wildside.
Jack Links presents Messin' with Sasquatch.
Watch this.
Don't mess with other snacks. Choose Jack Links jerky made with 100% beef. Jack Links presents Messin' with Sasquatch.
Watch this.
Don't mess with other snacks. Choose Jack Links jerky made with 100% beef.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with your Jack Links Wild Side Rumble, and we've seen 2 games of plenty of action. It's definitely been a rumble. It's definitely been a fight, and we got to talk about it. Dia, Cuppa, how you guys feeling? Dia, I'll start with you.
I mean, I'm feeling really good after last game. One of the important variables that I think wasn't mentioned when we were introducing the show, it has been wild to see 2 games back-to-back end like this with, importantly, Space Liquid dominating game 2. We have got a competition on our hands, or I suppose, as a lot of casters like to say, we have a series on our hands. 38 total points for Team GuhRL. They are far and away the ones in first place after an incredible start.
Yeah, I think let's talk about that incredible start. Things for Go and Game number 1, they got kill points, but the placement points didn't quite match the kill points count. But for match number 2, for lobby attempt on number 2, that was a completely different affair. They got the frags, they got the placement, they took out Team Faith, which I think is their direct competitor right now for the top portion of the podium between 1 and number 2, but definitely not to sleep at all on Space Liquid coming from the darkness and climbing all the way to the top with the Kraber action that we saw, and potentially even, I think, a clip or a collat with the Kraber. We were just talking about that, Tony. A lot of Kraber damage at the end of the game. That won them the game, I think, simply put.
Yeah, I think Space Liquid were playing excellent. As you kind of alluded to, you know, starting off game number 1, not so hot, but it just tells you how a big game can change your course, change the tides. Because after 3 games, eventually they come. I'm sorry, after 2 games, they eventually come out with that 3rd place finish so far. So, Dia, what does that say to the rest of the lobby here? I mean, if you're sitting on the right side of the lobby, are you starting to panic, or going into game 3, are you still confident? Are you still sticking to your guns?
I think, honestly, looking at this game, it's got to be GuhRL who are starting to get a little bit uncomfortable. And I say that because it's weird. Despite the fact that they've had 2 great games in a row, Faith are right behind them. Only 7 points separating these 2 squads because GuhRL were having 2 very consistent games, but weren't quite able to get that big finish that Space Liquid and Faith have now. Unless they pick up a win, other teams that are able to consistently put up these number 1 spots are going to overtake them, and I want to see that extra bit of factor, because remember, even if you hit match point, if you never win, you don't win.
You don't win, you don't win.
That was a dumb way to say that. That was a really stupid way to make that point. If you don't win, you don't win. Wow.
No, you know what? You got to say it as it is. Say it as you see it, as they say. There was a TV show in the UK years ago. Say it as you see it. Dia, you definitely did. And if you don't win, you don't win. And that's the mentality you've got to have as a gamer. You've got to go in with your best foot forward. You've got to go in with the mentality of a dub. Thank you so much for bringing us in, Mr. Tony, Mr. Why Not Be Reckless. What teams are going to be reckless as we jump into map number 3 of the Jack Links Wild Side Rumble? Dia, take it away.
We had action over at Rig in game 1. We had action over at Gauntlet in game 2. The Knights managed to push NDA out of their landing spot, and it seems like that change has stuck. Everyone's splitting up, and I'm looking for action, seeing it over at Artillery, over in the north even, as we've got all of the action over at Crash Site and Artillery. Golden Lotus right now trying to loot up in preparation for this fight, taking wingman shots in the back, but they've got incredible shields to start.
Incredible shields, incredible movement, and incredible speed. The speed machine, Milkman, got some deliveries to make.
Zipline, bringing him across. Milkman will still survive, even as they eat more shots on the way out. They're turning it around now. Golden Lotus may have found themselves an overextended team. And if this missile barrage hits, you've got to go in. 25 crack on the white shield. But there's enough angles here. The Golden Lotus are playing this scared. Double Z on the outside is going to commit to the Gibby bubble, trying to knock folks, as we've got even more knocks in the kill feed here. Space Liquid are going off while all this was happening. NDA are out, and now Golden Lotus have the chance to pick up second blood.
This is ridiculous. This is so ridiculous. Every game, the speed's increasing. Like an Energizer Bunny just shoving an extra battery in there, and the boost comes out. See the split screen here. Empty Name saw a lot of them in the game yesterday. What are they up to now?
making use of the Octane jump pad. They do buy themselves a little bit more space. Golden Lotus, though, are feeling much more comfortable, and they have height inside of artillery. You want to use this zip line, grab as many angles as you can to sort of push Empty Name out, maybe into containment, where you can find more and more action. Golden Lotus keep on relentless in their push and unafraid of Empty Name.
Most certainly not afraid. Got to be fearless if you play an Apex against these teams. The looting game, the vision game. There's something that's very underrated in a battle royale is you've got to have the best vision, and vision right now is exactly what we're going to see from Empty Name.
Altera gets caught a little bit off guard, does break a shield, but gets knocked right back. Double Z picks up that knock, and Empty Name, they gibby bubble forward to try and fix this, but it may just be a futile effort. A 2 versus 3, but Milkman gets taken down, equalized to the 2 versus 2, and Slash comes around the back, finds an extra knock. It's a 1 versus 1, but against a Gibraltar, you are just not going to get to win. Coach Cosmo and Double Z still up at the end of that, managed to reap their reward.
Star Wars reference. Resistance is futile. It definitely was against the Golden Lotus. Pushing in so hot, so heavy. Didn't really give a chance for Empty Name to respond. They tried, but the alternator bullets just deflected everywhere and not enough to get the job done. Good push, good cleanup, and all three is plays back on their feet, but the wingman straight into a new gunfight. It's Rad Boys, not looking so rad right now.
We've got even more action over at Rig, and you've got to assume this is Sad and Alone. We haven't got the confirmation just yet. The Promise of Real is looking to make it happen. Double Peacekeeper to the face. Rad Boys are the ones that get taken out, and it's Sad and Alone, in fact, that managed to take him out.
Good comms indeed. A team well known around the TGS stadium, around the arena. If you've been in that chat before, you've seen them going at it, and they're at it again in day number 2. Good cleanup, and that's some more frags to their name. 3, actually, might I add. Fort site.
Hoping that they can get this. Rez, of course, should be relatively alone over here by the rig. Heading into Broken Relay, you've got a beacon. If you want to play things safe, you can go out a little further towards the east. But there is apparently no rush to get goddamn back in the game, as GuhRL revisiting the scene of the crime earlier where they ended up chasing down and fighting squads, even taken down goddamn then. Now we're starting to move up, but hear the sound of that caustic trap going off, and they're going to think twice about it.
They are. We saw what a caustic trap could do in game number 2. Over in the skull.
Oh my god. Don't remind me.
The wall. The wall of caustic, should we say.
What really got me about that play, we watched it back during the sort of replay section in between games. What really got me about that is that they even set out a blue shield in front of it. They were like, here's a bunch of caustic traps. It's safe. Take this.
The full sense of security. That's an extra layer, an extra level of game sense and gameplay you're seeing here at the world side. That sure is wild. And this reset looking pretty wild here from TDM. Where do they reposition?
This relocation up towards the high ground. They're just next to containment. And while this doesn't actually find them another squad, any other kills for the moment, what it does do is keep them in a position where they can rotate pretty safely into the ring. We talked about how the center of the map is so deadly. Well, here that's much less so. Being able to take this zip line across and make your way through the choke point into the pit and the surrounding area. TDM now have a much easier, much less risky rotation than most other squads, and that's assuming they don't want to wait for Durango Legend to get that Valk ult again if they really want to play this risk-free.
Really want to play with fire. I'll tell you something, Dia. You are a bit of a tour guide of the Apex world. So I feel like, I believe that Tony feels this too. Always walk away with knowledge. On your left-hand side, you will see just great stuff. And hopefully you're learning something there at home. Talking of learning, living and learning, maybe getting some snacks and Apex coins. Please do pay attention. We've got some games and questions in between these games to keep you engaged, to keep you topped up, and of course, all brought to you by jacklinks.ca. If you're feeling hungry, you want some of that meat, that could be exactly where to get your eats. jacklinks.ca.
I feel like a lot of these players have really taken this to heart as well. The wild side really being embraced here, even by Bennett as he pops the ultimate on this Bloodhound. Doesn't get a scan that actually nets them any kills just yet. I'm keeping a look at that kill feed. We got an additional pun. I don't even know what pun we made. Oh, the wild side with the Bloodhound.
Yeah,
oh
baby.
my lord. It just comes out. Oh geez.
Just off the tongue.
Yeah, they're gonna try and make their rotation into ring, of course, actually picking up some tracks ahead of them. The power of this Bloodhound and the Ash and Bangalore to close this distance, make it all up close and personal. They'll have a chance to find some kills, but they haven't just yet, and things are starting to get hairy as U2 Easy get taken down.
Nothing's easy. Nothing's easy in this lobby. Truth be, if I was in this lobby, I would be needing a new pair of pants ASAP, and it looks like that might be the case here for IO. One player down, one player gone. Banner needs to be recovered, but no one looks to be recovering there. They're running for the hills.
This is where Faith ended up winning the last game, and Oyo just don't want to mess with that sort of bad juice. They know exactly what happened here, the scene of the crime, and the OGs have found Hamburger Helper to take down already with the smokes to cover their entrance into this fight. We've got a Digi threat, and Chamco can make a meal out of this, being able to control the high ground, loot up, and take down Knights of Nessie even in the kill feed. This is happening off screen, but it's yet another strong squad whittled down. That's Hybrid Theory go out too. Team Faith are on a rampage.
Team Faith back on top, baby. Had a good start to today. Looking to continue on their tearaway. Good read, and that's kill leader being attained by Team Faith once more as well. On the game they did win today, they were able, I believe, to clamber on to that kill leader. Let's see if they can repeat history. Looking to stop them. It's going to be every other team in this lobby. They know what's on the line, and Team Faith, they are looking ready to climb.
They really just love this spot. They know exactly what they enjoy about Apex Legends, and they are doubling down on it every time. Black Market going to assist them. They're not going to run short on any of their resources in terms of holding this position, and it'll have to be Ring that pulls them out. For Oyo, we're currently running from the very scary Team Faith. They're going to have to rely on is mispositions from other teams. A little bit too much confidence. A lurk play is really the thing that can change the game for a team that is currently operating one member down.
Something we've actually touched on too in detail and in deep across this weekend, but yeah, the mental fortitude it takes when you've got a part of your trio down, and in fact, when you're in the middle of a battle, in the middle of this fight we see right now, this is not a place you want to be.
Oh, Team Girl losing one member. Chaotic Munch taken low against Golden Lotus. They may still be able to pull this out as Girl enters the fight, enters the bubble with Mastiff afloat. Reloaded on the inside, taking her time because she knows she's got plenty of safety behind these traps. The building belongs to Team Girl. Chaotic Munch does get full thirsted. Now needing a little bit of assistance from Diffq. There may be a third party coming in. It is doing so much work. Girl ditches underneath, doesn't quite get the shield swap, and it's all up to Diffq.
Diffq, we're watching you. We're looking at you to get this done. The zone, enemy players, so much to do. This might be a reposition from Diffq.
Yeah, Gensport backpack with a really effective third party, or effectively denying banners right now. Diffq would struggle to come back and pick them up, so the call is to play for placement. This is exactly what we're talking about. With the Team Girl able to pick up a lot of kills, being able to place quite well, what they need is a win. And it just seems to be evading them, especially right now, getting that much harder with just one member left. OGs, however, might be able to clear out this area, might be able to help Team Girl if they can eliminate Jansport Backpack, who are currently hiding out on the second floor.
Jansport, I want to say, have been the masters of third parties, the masters of the disciplines, trigger discipline plays. Nothing is going to put them on a rush. The OGs, though, great repositioning, utilizing the nature of Ash, and off you go. So impactful. If you had to choose Loba or Ash, who are you choosing? If you had to choose one of those legends. Tough choice.
I am a better Loba player. I prefer... Okay. Yeah. I think, in a competitive sense, Ash is quite fun, but... I don't know. I really like finding turbochargers, and I can't be bothered to go through all the buildings. How about you?
You know what? I'm an Ash player, but truth be, Loba does offer more bang for your buck on the competitive stage. When you're talking of all of her kit, it just is so, it's so diverse. Ash, you kind of have to be aggressive, and if you aren't successful in your aggression, you are dead. You are KO. That is it. Going back to, if you don't win, you don't win. I think it's one of those kind of scenarios that Ash, if you're not fragging, you're going to be having a really bad time with Ash. Whereas you look towards Loba, you could offer a bit more support as well as that hyper aggression. But from Loba to Bangalore right now, looking quite lonely on the battlefield.
Tony, the only one left up right now, but fortunately, there is a third party incoming. A little unfortunately, it's too late, and TDM go out. Recognizing that, we're going to back off. We are not going to take a fight with a squad that has just had the chance to reset, that has plenty of time to block out the doors. I think it's a smart call to leave these squads alone inside Spotted Lake. And speaking of inside Spotted Lake, Space Liquid this time have made it. The ring that was unlucky for them previously now has given them a really nice bit of high ground to work with. And you know them. Of course they're running a 3x on the 301 because we don't get close to other people if we don't have to as Space Liquid.
Keep him at arm's length, keep him at bay, and that's a smart play. That's a very smart play. You go back to the game just gone, we saw some crazy plays with that charge rifle. The distance until needed to go for that last close combat engagement. Exactly what they did in the top 3, and we're not quite there. Top 9 right now. But you're right, they're just like a walk in the park on a Sunday, or a walk on the beach.
Team Faith holding the high ground. I'm surprised that they're not throwing shots down at Space Liquid, trying to farm up those Evo shields to red. This is something that all the winning teams have been able to do so far, and that includes Team Faith in their previous game, especially with somebody like Messiah, a hyper-aggressive player. Used to play in the ALGS Pro League qualifiers, even on LMK, and even further for Esports Arena, was inside of that longer form tournament Series E, and doing quite well. Having now given that up to try and figure out how to play this Jack Links tournament just right, I would have expected a little bit more aggro play, affecting their opposition in a way that free agents simply are not. That was a very quick takedown.
Great slide, and
another one.
Has some pride with the flatline as well. Love it.
Oh, I can't believe what just happened. Is like
that turn.
There was like the DJ Khaled of 3 kills being served up. Just people coming in through the portal, walking into the flat line, and AHP, they may be contributing right now, though it ain't no portal, trying desperately to survive. Chiu is gonna hide inside the waterfall, but just can't catch a break. Turn it around to fight now. The 301, the Mastiff coming out, and a knock does the job, but Chiu is going to be unable to pick up. He's going to be able to almost pick up the kill. What an incredible turn.
What? That scenario, back against the wall, back against a wall to fall. Only the player was looking to fall, but takes one before they are going to go. That's the best way to do it, really, especially at that kind of scenario, that kind of situation. The situation now looking awful. Space Liquid, they're firing down with that charge rifle once again.
And again, it is Fun FPS causing problems for teams that simply do not have the resources to fight the long-range battle, who don't have the positioning, who haven't prioritized the literal sniper tower that Fun FPS is on right now. Silent, in danger of going down, angled on by both Guild and Bronzy. 25 HP to his name, but Fun FPS is playing a game of his own. He's not even paying attention to what his team is doing.
Doesn't care. Is aware, but doesn't care. Because that's trust. That's the kind of trust we have on this team. Exactly why they're having such success so far today as well. Space Liquid, a shot here, a shot there, a shot for you. It's just everything is happening for Space Liquid right now. They're like walking turrets.
Fun FPS has built 1.3k damage out of nothing but 3s so far, though. He is sitting there not quite hitting the tail end of the charge rifle, but it is wild to see him go for it. He is keeping 3 different squads suppressed. Even Team Faith up on the high ground aren't even peeking their heads out.
Even my Apple Watch, even Siri's asking, what's happening? What are you yelling about? I'm yelling about Space Liquid. I'm yelling about the charge rifle, and it does it again.
Might be able to take a squad out of the air here. If your Valkyrie drop before you hit the apex of the jump, you will end up going down. Oh my lord. Fun FPS doesn't find flesh just yet, doesn't find the crack. There it is, 41 damage, and taken out of the sky! Moosey is down, and Fun FPS is going crazy!
This is like skeet shooting. This is an Apex.
Gilderson's been able to secure that kill point. 4 kills, 5 for the squad of Space Liquid, and we're into the top 6 teams, so placement points are really starting to roll in.
Space Liquid, they're looking to roll in with a bulldozer. That bulldozer's a charge rifle.
Wouldn't go into the sky, not with fun FPS around. He actually, we've got a moment to talk about it, was pulling off a really niche interaction there. Had 2 charge rifles, and instead of bothering to reload, he was just picking up the weapon. Because he had 2, he could swap, and when you pick a weapon up, it instantly has a full cartridge. And he was just making sure constantly having ammo by picking up all these new charge rifles. A really interesting play, and it ended up working out in their favor. Team Faith, however, do not have the favor of the gods, the map, anything, and certainly not Space Liquid and the squads in front of them. They're getting a little bit of karma for how they played out the previous match with that high ground disparity and are whittled down to just 2 players.
Oh, lobbies are whittled down to 6 teams now. Still just a moment ago, we're sitting at 10-11 point. Space Liquid just been shredded. Team Faith shredded as well. R301. What additional rifles, special SMD to get it done. So much damage to be inflicted, but this is risky. So risky from Team Faith.
They gotta be careful though. Messiah doesn't know that Space Liquid are behind them, and so if we get a charge rifle beam from far away, we'll know who it came from. Messiah's managed to heal up decently so far. Great use of the horizon, by the way, to get these unorthodox angles. But in a 2 versus 3, we're bringing it in close. We've got Faith and Messiah both having to back off onto the low ground, giving up their position from earlier, and Faith isn't even going to make it. It is just Messiah left, representing Team Faith, the squad that was in 2nd place going into this game, maybe dropping down further.
Intimidating. Honest truth is something you're going to have to face at this point as a team. If you're on your own, you're like, hey, I'm going to have to try and make placements now. Frags are just a consolation prize. Placement more important.
Let's move this way.
Space Liquid looking in such a good position as well. Not just map-wise, just the way they're performing. They really aren't missing shots. They know exactly what they're doing. They have a plan after their next plan after their next plan. They have thought of every scenario, Dio.
I mean, these are players of the professional caliber, whether they be currently signed as players or not. On FPS, really dialing it in right now as a piece of Liquid is going to continue on from the playoff stage at LAN over to an incredible fight inside of the Jack Link's Wild Side tourney. Oyo, however, they've got a piece missing.
I suspect we will find something here.
1 player turns into 2 as IO multiply. Get the Caustic back on their feet here.
Watch the way Space Liquid play this final ring. We haven't yet gotten to the final ring too often with this many squads left. 4 remaining. Nice beams from Fun FPS, but their access to the high ground is limited, specifically by the Valkyrie. This isn't one of the squads that's running the horizon, so they're going to have to either climb or take to the skies. A very difficult prospect, of course, for this squad. Gilderson's already started pushing up. Bronzy ends up joining him. 2 against 3. Space Liquid whittle us down so quickly.
Liquid do have the kill leader point right now. They do have the MVP, the golden star, and looking to get so much more here as they've swapped up from charge rifle to close combat and finishing things in number 1 place. The Wildside Rumble, game number 3, taken away by Space Liquid.
The wingman shots at the end were looking pretty slick, and I gotta say, Space Liquid were looking sort of just like their name. It's an odd thing that I hadn't considered. The Space Liquid would be pretty slick, wouldn't it, Kappa?
You know what? When I saw that name, before I even looked at the roster itself, I'm like, what would be a good Space Liquid? I was thinking all the astronauts and stuff, but you know what? I don't need to think that deep into space because we've got some aliens in the server, some crazy players that are doing inhuman things, inhuman reactions, you name it, they've got it. What a game from Space Liquid. Need we say more? The production was lighting up the chat all chat long, or game long, I should say. The chat itself in Twitch were lighting up, and for us, you could just feel the electricity in the server from Space Liquid.
It was a really impressive game from them. Their end game control was massive. Their mid game even better, as they were one of the few teams that managed to prioritize a power spot and zone for the way that they wanted to play. If you are giving this team snipers, you are actively losing the game. That is
Straight
a
up.
terrifying thing. We do have more questions, of course, to answer in the chat, as we are giving away both Apex coins and Jack Link's merch. So check out chat trivia and the challenges to answer these correctly for a chance to win. If you're feeling a little bit snacky, I do know that we just finished our third game. We're going a little bit long, so if you're looking for something to eat, something delicious, I might say, that'll bring out your wild side, check out jacklinks.ca for a chance to feed that part of yourself. As you do, we're going to take a very short break, and then we'll pop right back in with Game 4 of the Jack Links Wild Side Rumble.
Jack Links presents Messin' with Sasquatch.
Watch this.
Don't mess with other snacks. Choose Jack Links jerky made with 100% beef. Jack Links presents Messin' with Sasquatch.
Watch this.
Don't mess with other snacks. Choose Jack Links jerky made with 100% beef.
Welcome back, folks, to the Jack Links Wild Side Rumble. I'm still Dia. I still got Cuppa Frag and Why Not by my side. And as you two are going to be covering the next match, we have got some questions to start to break down exactly what we saw. Obviously, huge game from Space Liquid. I got to ask you, Cuppa, you were right next to me the whole time. What was the craziest thing you saw on that stage?
You know what? That whole game was crazy. I was holding on for dear life like a wooden roller coaster without a seat belt. Space Liquid, they're the talk of the town. And I know Tony has some really cool analytical insight of them. But for me, it's just, I love the sniping action. I love the way they take their engagements. It's just something that I'm in awe of right now. From day one to day two, seeing their progression as well, where they're starting to pull out more and more strategy. It's just ingenious. It's big brain plays, and I think that's going to lead straight to you as well there, Tony. Let's talk about that. What did they do so right in game number 3 that we just saw?
Well, this move right here, like that, as a charge rifle player myself, I've actually never seen that done before. So you notice that the moment that he ran out of ammo out of his first charge rifle, instead of reloading, he goes and looks down and picks up the second one, which has gives him automatic ammo in there, so he just go right back in. It's much faster than trying to reload and then going into. So he plays the charge rifle masterfully, but then on top of that, once it gets down to the final 5, he realizes that it's going to that final battle. He realizes it's going to that final 3 squad, so he immediately trades it out for an R301 with the 2x on it and puts it to work masterfully. So it was just really good work with the charge rifle, and I was in awe.
And it is well rewarded as well, because going into this game, Space Liquid are the team 10 points away from being on match point. As long as they manage to make it into, I want to say, top 5, they're going to be good, because they're going to be collecting kills along the way. Let's be honest. Cuppa, we have seen so many teams run alongside Space Liquid and just get taken out while they're trying to do it. What do you imagine is the secret to taking them down?
That's a question. That's like 10 questions in one. I think that's the Jack Links Wild Rumble question of the day. How can someone take down Space Liquid? You know what? I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all for that. Perhaps some zonal plays to let Space Liquid take that action. But on the other hand, the best way to take out a team is fight fire with fire, aggression with aggression, and take them out early on that hot draw. But that's such a high-risk play. I don't know if any teams are going to be willing to make that risk right here, right now, today. And for yourself, Tony, any thoughts, any plan of attack to take out Space Liquid?
Yeah, don't fight him. Do not fight her. You know what? You don't have
Bro.
to come out with the win to reach match point. Second place is pretty good. Just stay out of their way.
Do not mess with Space Liquid. You don't know what is they're about. You don't know where they're coming from. Is it a bird? Is it a play? No. It is Space Liquid all over this game here for the Jack Links Wildside Rumble. This is game number 4. Space Liquid on the verge of tasting victory.
And we're looking on the mini map here. We're definitely seeing a lot of teams start to land on top of each other. Like that caustic area is still very popular. We do see some teams landing over towards Gauntlet and maybe leading into that artillery section. And we do see Rig. We do see a 50-50 battle going on towards the Rig. So with all these battles taking place, we might end up dropping 2 or 3 squads very quickly going into, or even before heading into round number 2.
Sad and alone. Say TGS sort of house favorites, if you will, for the time they've put in at the stadium. Almost a home turf for them. But every other team make it like a home turf as well. AHP getting straight into some action here. Boy, he's fighting a bit more than they can chew, Tony.
In day number 1, Team Faith would land here often, and often you would see them holding onto that God spot going into those middle rounds, going into the big game, and they decided to land here once again. Team Faith taking back their real estate. All 3 players still alive. 1 more player to deal with. Cost going to try to get out of that situation, but not going to be able to do so. Space Liquid. We know Space Liquid wanted to fight for this early in the mid game, but eventually this hill is going to move away from it. In about 1 minute and 40 seconds, this area will not be safe outside of the market.
Something they got to consider. Assess, strategize, and time for that next move. Sad and alone. Not wasting any time. Airstrikes, nades, arc charges, everything's being thrown.
Sad and alone, having all 3 players up, but Silent did go down to 1 shot, so if I'm Silent, he's definitely going to be playing a med kit at this point. He has to make sure that he is ready for this fight, as Sad and alone taking damage, not able to get the heal off, and that's going to leave Server and goddamn by themselves. Goddamn taking the height, puts down a couple shots with the wingman, then quickly backs down, trying to be cheeky with the movement, but they're at a disadvantage. They're in a 3v2 at the moment. The Eva not going to be enough to keep them alive, and Rad Boy's going to rinse, wash, and repeat. We are down to 16 squads.
Faster as the games go through. 1, 2, 3, 4, and just zooming through for more and more action, more frags. These teams start of a bit of desperation, perhaps, in their mentality of we need to get frags, we need to get them now. If we want to plays, we've got to take out teams like Space Liquid. We've got to take out teams, for example, like the Golden Lotus right now. They're one of those teams that are hungry, that need to have that appetite and fill themselves up on jerky. Jack Links, perhaps, to get themselves fueled and good to go.
Only way to truly feed your wild side. Golden Lotus trying to get involved with this situation. I'm not sure that Rad Boys are completely aware of it. That shouldn't be opening up a hole, so that tells me that they are not aware that that team is trying to get by. But luckily, Bubble comes in. They're going to get out of dodge, does Rad Boys. So Golden Lotus left just shooting a couple of shots toward the flying players. Not going to be able to get the knocks or the kills that they want, and they're going to have to head towards the edge of circle. And Rad Boys already in good position towards it. OG's chilling in the swamps, or should I say chilling? They're getting shot at. World's gonna be the first one to go down. OG's already on their back foot.
Good news here today. OG's trying to use all the util possible to get themselves out of hell here. It's gonna take more than a few nades to get them out of hell. No ult available. Ready to pray up the stairs. This engagement is looking so dangerous, so chaotic.
Name having a 3v2 scenario, but they quickly go 2 down as well. That's going to leave a 1v1, and it looks like our Bloodhound player having the purple shields getting yet another knock. Empty name, specifically Slash, trying to find where that player went, but our Bloodhound player for OG is going to quickly get out of the situation because a third party coming in, and it looks like Empty name goes down, and it is Team Girl. Whenever there's action on the screen, Team Girl is usually close to it.
Oh yeah, they are. This time around, though, them having a third party, not something you're used to seeing for them. Usually sort of take that battle head on. Talking of head-on battles, like this one, what's good? Not much. Nothing at all. It's all looking bad. All looking horrific as what's good get taken out.
Another quick rinse coming out of TDM, and you're noticing some of these top teams when they engage in these battles, they're not lingering, they're not wasting too much time. When they truly engage, they try to get rid of these fights as quickly as possible to avoid that third party, to avoid someone else coming in and either stealing their kills or stealing their lives. Rad Boys still in the swamps, and Team Girl are very comfortable with fighting, but the wingman shots looking very good coming out of Katy Perry. Beast of the Hunt activated as they look to get aggressive.
You see a team like Girl, you know you've got to step up to the plate. You know you've got to have your try-hard pantaloons on and tied up as tight as possible. As the stalemate just arrives here. Bit of silence, no bullet speed exchange for the time being, but they know they've got a nasty neighbor ahead.
Rad Boy still in the building, still trying to hold down the defensive position, and Team Girl have yet to collapse just yet. But those nades and the fact that they're spreading out and starting to surround the enemy team lets me know they're getting ready to the collapse. There's a third party trying to come in over towards the mountains. Team Girl very well aware of it and trying to almost scare them away to create an opening for them to push Rad Boys. I think the only reason why Team Girl haven't pushed them just yet is because of that third party sitting on top of the mountain. And that's ultimately almost creating a 6v3 situation because they have to deal with both of these teams, not just one.
Great breakdown, great explanation, Tony. It definitely is indeed a 6 versus 3. And in Battle Royales, if you've played any, even if it's an Apex, you know you've got to get your timing correct. And Girl looking to get that time as the third party commences.
More damage coming in out of Katy Perry. Bubble goes down, and that tells me that looks like they're looking to skyward dive. But Valkyrie going all the way down to one shot. Keep spinning, otherwise you will be knocked. And that's the Valkyrie play that goes down. So you notice the two teammates quickly end up getting dropped right in the position where they flew from. And that's going to be a quick wipe going in favor of Team Girl. That is very unfortunate, but yet another battle commences, and Diff Q ready for it.
Nally, effort. Again, what do you do to fight against Space Lick? What do you do to fight against Team Girl? You've got to hit your shots, and that's what not is happening to Golden Lotus right now. Good positioning, but so much to do. A big ordeal in front of them.
Team Girl clearing out the swamps like it is their job. They're cleaning house right now, which is very good for the environment. Like I say, saving the trees is Team Girl. Golden Lotus though, woo! Milkman has something delivered. That's some beautiful R301 shots from across the map. Doesn't even have a 2x boost, just doing it all with the 1x hitting shot. But it looks like those shots are starting to come right back at him, going all the way down to one shot force to take cover in the building as he heals and gets shot through the window and horizon.
Girl.
Crowd strafe coming in, but not enough to take down one. And it looks like Coach Cosmo, the final player alive here, ends up dropping the defensive apartment and gets a crack, of course, to use the bubble, and that player slides into the DMs, puts them down. Great work by Golden Lotus to fend off Team Girl as long as they did, but eventually Team Girl's ultimate offense going to wipe them off of the face of Kings Canyon.
You say slip into the DMs, I say slip onto the dance floor. Those moves, you can't miss those moves. Iconic coming from Girl. The Peacekeeper, the Mastiff, you name it. They've done it this tournament. And just make it, I said this once, I'll say it again, make it look effortless. The way they make these plays happen. Like that, just melts the player, takes out the armor, and gives them the option, do we push or do we play elsewhere?
Two players currently with purple shields. Chaotic, the only player with red shields at the moment, but that's still very early to have red shields. We still have 9 players on the map and still have a minute left in round 2 here. So Team Girl looking very comfortable, and also look at the position that they're in right now. I mean, they're towards the edge of circle. They're sitting very comfortable. They're obviously have an understanding on how to play the space of swamps. Team Girl looking very good in the mid game and hopefully going into the late game.
Hope, isn't it? Oh dear, no getting to late game. You're being hunted like this by Girl. No place to hide. No place to even shoot from. Still down to 2 players, but I say it's down to. It was down to 1.
It's a 2v2 scenario, but Team Girl gonna knock one, and these one by themselves, and you already know you give them an inch, they will take a mile. But notice that Team Girl not only getting knocked, but getting killed all the way through. They will have to play the res, and that will put a giant beacon on where Team Girl is, and when other teams will try to take advantage of that. Look, already we're seeing 2 teams looking to introduce themselves. That is Team Faith, and I believe NDA.
It's like a speed dating site gone wrong. Everyone's toxic and all the bullets being fired from everywhere. 5 frags to the name right now. 4 Girl. 4 chaotic much, but chaotic much bite off a little bit more than one can chew. Too much jerky to chew down on.
And this is perfect for Team Fate. Team Fate are playing against a heavy hitter in Team Girl, but Team Girl already down a player. But looks like Team Fate able to get the res off, and Messiah chasing players down left and right with the vault, going all the way down this Team Girl, and that's the final player. We are down to 7 squads. Team Fate taking advantage of their momentary numbers.
I am the Messiah now. That's perhaps something Messiah would be yelling in the team comms when they get a frag. Just putting ideas out there. People are pumped. People are jacked up. And they know it's getting down to that final 5 teams here. The truth.
Mind you, in case you guys are new to this format, this is a match point format. So all these teams trying to fight to get to 60 points. Once they reach that 60-point threshold, it takes just 1 win after achieving 60 points for them to come the victor. So there's plenty of times where where the kill leader or the point leader doesn't actually win the entire lobby, doesn't actually win the entire tournament, because they never able to get that oh so elusive #1 spot after achieving match point. I would say it's easier to get to 60 points than it is to secure a win, because at that point you have a target on your back.
Yeah, there isn't a bounty system in the server in Apex itself, right? But it feels like it in this tournament format. Great explanation, Tony. And for those at home, how much extra pressure? Just imagine for a second, you're in a team, or on a team, you're in a game, you fought so hard, but you just can't get that win. And talking of not able to get a win, someone getting shot in the backside here as they run through the caves.
Trying to get out of the caves, but one quickly goes down here. And Pubsky just absolutely taking down that rat. And now look at all of them. Just all of them sick in the one box. And there's enough. Is there enough loot to go around? Is there? God bless Team Fate able to get that res off. So they're looking comfortable in swamps. Just like Team Girl was a very aggressive team. But you notice with swamps, there's a lot of real estate for you to try to cover. You know, there's a lot of places where teams can slip in, grab a building, and try to fight you out. Meanwhile, Space Liquid over towards that west side of the map, playing the edge, trying to find an entry point into the circle that is safe, and then ultimately being a very aggressive team themselves, looking to play for that KP. So very interesting how things are going out. Meanwhile, on the top north side, Humble God definitely ratting it out, and every team that goes down at this point is just easy bonus points for Humble God, because it'd be very hard for him to try to pull off a win as the final player.
Oh, the crack!
Especially when you have Bronzy hitting Kraber shots like that one.
The sounds of the crack of the Kraber is so threatening. It's so devilish, and the sound of an airstrike above it is as well. Liquid just trying to assess their options here. What gunfight's going to be the best, and where can I put this Kraber to work? That's the question coming in from 3 times retired Bronzy. I second that, Dia. I love the name change.
Outside of game #1, Space Liquid have done a very good job of picking and choosing their battles, picking and choosing their spots that they want to play. They have no problem slowing the game down, playing for the end game, and that's just because I feel like they're so confident when it comes to those final 3 circles with their play calls, with their decision making, that they feel like they can win any lobby when it comes down to those final 5 or final 4 teams. So once again, we see Space Liquid playing towards the edge of circle, but find the elevation here. That circle closing in on their backs. They might be a little bit limited on their movement, but once they pick and choose where they want to move from here, I'm sure they will get aggressive towards that. 12 players still on the map.
How does Space Liquid do it? Their positioning is just, it is god tier. They find the god spot with their eyes closed. They're blindfolded and they still do. As you said, as you mentioned, they can take a choice of what engagements they're going for. Nice little maneuver here from 3-toe Bronzy as well. Just gets the info play, the recon grab. Where are they?
And that's exactly what they're doing. A lot of people probably question, like, why would he skyward dive without his teammates? But like you said, he's using himself as a UAV, trying to find all that information possible. You asked how they're able to find these god spots. It's because of high IQ plays like that, where they're getting information and then making their move from their Seer ult, going out. Space Liquid almost able to hit that shot, just barely missing the NDA's very own Pumsky.
Just hearing the Kraber, man, it gets me excited, gets me exhilarated, and this kind of push does as well. NDA trying to hold this builder with all they've got. And jumping in right into the face with the Mastiff as well. Not going to get the frag, but gets the endangerment and the engagement.
You know, we call Bloodhound the ultimate intel legend with how much intel he's able to gather from his Q, but when Seer has that ultimate ready, it is way more intel than almost any legend can provide, and you saw it right then and there. NDA able to play aggressive, able to collapse on their enemy team because of the amount of intel that they got from that one ultimate. And now you're gonna see Pubsky just looking for those accelerators because they don't want to get into a fight without it. They want to make sure that every fight they truly engage in, they have that ultimate coming out of their Seer player.
So impactful. We saw it yesterday, didn't we? There you go. That's exactly it. Hearing the coach comms here from Tony of get that ultimate bump in, man, sooner rather than later.
NDA not only getting that ult, but also having that high ground sitting on top of the roofs. What are you seeing here, Kappa?
I'm looking at some Valkyrie trying to maintain that high position. NDA trying to take a page out of Bronzy's book, going hyper aggressive here. I don't know if I agree with this though.
Well, you know what? If they're confident in their gun skill, I mean, it's high risk, high reward, and we're going to find out if it works out for them because that circle's getting smaller and smaller. There is not much places for any of these teams to play. All of these teams now funneled in towards the open area. You're seeing the ultimate coming from the horizon, the black hole trying to suck in the defenses of their opponents, bringing us down to 3 squads as Space Liquid gets eliminated. NDA making quick work of that squad, and now I say there's only 3 squads remaining, but it's actually only 5 players on the map, so that's 3 coming out of this team. We maybe have 2 out of another playing as a duo, and 1 rat player still on the map. This is NDA's game to lose.
It's all good being a rat in the game at Apex, but being a rat in the final 3 squads, this is not an envious place for any player. This is so difficult, and that rat most likely gonna get singled out first. NDA, I think might even be singled out, that rat, if I'm not mistaken as well.
Humble God, we talked about the rat player earlier before, and looks like he's finally spotted out, like you said, hunted down, and we're down to 2 squads remaining here. I believe that is Team Fate, the duo, playing against NDA. The ult comes in. That's the information they need. They know that there's only 2 players on the map. Morbid already putting some excellent shots on his opponent, who also has the red shield. And of course, that defensive bombardment needs to come out for our Gibby player of NDA.
Can that Kraber deliver the killer blow that we need to see? Hard to use it up close and personal, but it's going to have to work. It's going to have to happen. Some options on the zone, though. So this last fight for these 2 teams doesn't have to happen here. They can reposition, but will they is the question.
Yeah, NDA, they may have the advantage here, but I mean, honestly, Team Fate are very strong competitors. You know, for example, I've watched Diego literally queue up in not only pub match, but also ranked matches by himself and try to play 1v3s. He's been in scenarios when he's been down in numbers and understands how to play the space, and so do many other content creators such as Messiah. So NDA, they might have the numbers. You might be asking, why aren't they just aping? But they have to play this careful. Do not give Team Fate any room to breathe.
No room to breathe at all. Constricted in the breathing, perhaps. He's doing exactly what you've discussed, the solo play. Not able to get the armor up, though. That could be a problem. Look at the HP.
Ooh. Uh-oh. This is bad. Now NDA go down a player. Pumpkin gonna be the first one to fall. Now essentially this is a 2v2 and they are allowing Team Faith to heal up here. Luckily they were able to bubble out and get the res. Pumpkin not only coming back onto the map, but also able to play a battery, but that was almost dangerous.
That was so dangerous. That is living life on the edge, but I think the might have recovered with the HP, with the heal, and with the deuces sign. It's been real.
And NDA having all 3 players alive, but eventually going down, and that's gonna be it. Team Faith actually taking out both of the players. There's only one more player left, and they're shooting left and right. They're literally celebrating right now as Team Faith were able to pull off the 2v3. I said it before, just because you have the numbers doesn't mean you're gonna be able to make it easy, able to come out with the win. And I can't believe we just saw a 2v3 in the final battle. That is crazy.
Yeah, I'm almost speechless. And I think that goes to show when you get slightly complacent in the sense of we've got the number advantage. If you vocalize that, verbalize that, mentalize and think that sometimes could be in a position of not expecting them to perform so exceedingly well. And that's exactly what happened there in that scenario. Also, to give some credit where credit's due, the zonal positioning there was really awkward on that cliff face and left kind of an open area for them to have that final battle as well. Kind of like the Wild West scenario, where you walk out, you've got your gun ready, and you've just got to take that fight as soon as it comes to you. Unfortunate, but a good play for a 2 versus 3.
If you guys at home want to pull off those 2v3s just like you saw Team Faith did, you need to level up your gameplay, and one way to do that is to level up your snacking game. Stop sitting here munching on those fruit snacks, munching on this crazy, cashews or almonds or whatever you're eating.
Come on.
Level up. Eat like a champion. Make sure you grab yourself some Jack Link's beef jerky. Question on the screen is, which legend switched classes in Season 4? Crypto, Bloodhound, Watson, or Pathfinder? Find out the answer after a short break here.
Jack Links presents Messin' with Sasquatch.
Watch this.
Don't mess with other snacks. Choose Jack Links jerky made with 100% beef. Jack Links presents Messin' with Sasquatch.
Watch this.
Don't mess with other snacks. Choose Jack Links jerky made with 100% beef.
Take a seat and put up your feet. The World Side Rumble, the Jack Links World Side Rumble, featuring Apex Legends. 4,500 Canadian dollars on the line here, and we are quite a few games deep into this saga. The 5th game on your doorstep very, very shortly. Before we go anywhere into that game, quick question: which Legend switched class in Season 4? It was Pathfinder. Pathfinder switched classes from support to a recon at the start of Season 4. Hopefully you didn't cheat, but if you did, well, it's all part of the fun here. Get in there, know your trivia, discuss it, and we'll come back to that a little later. I'm going to talk about something really important, though, from the game we just saw there. Some really interesting plays, and we'll get to leaderboard in just a second. Break it down for us, Tony. What was so crazy about the game that we just saw?
I mean, the fact that we literally saw a 2v3 NDA having all of the advantages to be able to win that game, and sadly, you know, it's not easy even to be up in numbers. Team Fate coming in out of nowhere. You have to find, in order to pull off a 2v3, you have to have the gun skill, the clutch ability, find the momentary lapse in timing off your enemy, isolate an individual gunfight, and be able to find, your opponent not, doing well on the comms. There's so much that goes into putting off a 2v3 against experienced players, and Team Fate was able to do it, and there's a large reason why they're in match point eligible with 64 points, along with Space Liquid just barely getting over that 60-point threshold. They're match point eligible as well.
To add on to that, I think the cherry on the cake, which makes Game 5 so very exciting as we're building up to the climax of this insane event so far, is girls. Girl are just on the verge of getting themselves to match point as well. So let's just do some theory craft too, boys. Let's say that Girl takes it the whole way here, it gets the match point as well. That'll be 3 teams going into match number 6 with that potential match point on the verge of getting the coins, getting the Apex coins, getting all of that Jack Links jerky. Who are your boys' money on? I'm going to put you both in the spot here. Going to start with you, Dia. Who do you think is going to be taking this one home today for what we see so far? Welcome to the hot seat.
Oh my god, it's real hot. I am probably going to go with, after having seen what we just saw, Team Faith. They looked incredible, and while I feel like Space Liquid have had a good time of it so far, the fact that they went out early and seem a little bit unreliable in that sense is kind of shaking my faith here. Why not?
I mean, I think all eyes right now are on Team Girl. Team Girl cannot count on another team to pull off the win. They have to pull off the win right here, right now, not just to become match point eligible, because only 5 points away from doing so, but to make sure that Team Fate or Team Liquid don't secure the win and end the tournament. All eyes are on Team Girl, but if I had to put my money on a team, I I gotta go Team Space Liquid. The reason being is that I think Team Fate have been playing excellent Apex. I think when it comes to those individual or those 3v3 battles or individual gunfights, they simply win them. But Space Liquid, to me, once they find that ultimate position, once they get into their position from point A to point B, they're really hard to deal with. Their decision making is on point. Their IGLing is on point. Like I think Team Space Liquid are the most dangerous team to pull off wins consistently.
They absolutely are, and I think so much of that is because they don't let you play the game. They sit at range and make it so difficult for you to actually approach with a 3-man with full health bars. And, well, we're talking about the approach, but we're talking about playing the game. We're about to see some styling here. Sadalone and Rad Boys facing off for what I believe is the 3rd time today now. We've got an interesting start, actually, with the initial strat being for Sad and Alone to all sit up top and grab their ultimate. So very powerful cooldowns there. You've heard the Bloodhound's ultimate in the distance. This should advantage them just with the information from Bloodhound scans alone.
Sad and Alone, previous winners of the TGS tournaments, your reigning champions coming in. I mean, they're longtime competitors coming in of the gaming stadium, and you're seeing why they've made it to day number 2, and they've been playing excellent Apex, but they are at an armor disadvantage going up against Rad Boys. Currently 3 players with blue shields, meanwhile Sad and Alone still have 2 with the gray.
Got a good way out here, making their way over towards Broken Relay for a quick exit. Sad and Alone didn't get the cracks, right? And I think that their sort of competitive experience over here at TGS backs that up. Since they didn't have an advantage, why take the fight when they can find themselves even more loot and maybe get one later? Over here, however, TDM are also taking a fight with some really nice skyward shots, and by Maddie to be able to get inside, hopefully taking the rampage to the metal. Does find Flesh, Jansport backpack end up going out, and TDM stabilize inside of this building.
TDM, another squad, kind of poised to pull off a win. If there is a dark horse team that you guys are looking for in this tournament, it is TDM. They always seem to be finding themselves towards the late game. They're very comfortable fighting out. TDM are definitely a dangerous squad that we have in our lobby here.
Since they've picked up those 3 KP as well, they're going to be getting themselves even closer. One of the things that I feel like we have not talked about yet, with all of our talk about Team GuhRL, about Team Space Liquid, about Team Faith, who are close to or on match point, it feels like a very tight game. But if we look at the scores outside of them, it really isn't. A whole lot of teams are very, very far behind this marker. A 20-point lead between GuhRL and anyone else, and Faith are looking to expand that lead between them and the rest of the lobby by picking up 2 additional kills. Here I thought that now that they were on match point, they were going to be playing conservatively. It doesn't look like it.
I mean, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Team Faith want to speed run through the lobby, and as long as it's working for them, let them do just that. Deegs not only using the jetpack, but also going right into the Horizon queue to immediately take that ultimate height and get as much intel as possible. Messiah able to upgrade those shields over towards purple, and Team Faith are on the hunt.
So much mobility on this squad as well. One of the things that is super powerful about them, is the word that I'm going to go with, is the fact that normally in high-level competitive Apex, you see just a Valkyrie being the source of mobility. Maybe every once in a while you get yourself a Wraith to go along with that, something like even the Horizon starting to pop in. But with the combination of the Loba, the Valkyrie, and the Horizon, there's so much access to vertical movement on Team Faith that makes it difficult for other teams to actually contest them.
And then in addition to all 3 of the characters being able to take height immediately, I also love the fact that when you have a Horizon player on your team, like the one thing you want to make sure that you have are nades. When that black hole starts to go in and suck in the defense, you want nades to be able to isolate that damage, get that cheeky damage before you're able to go in. What is Loba really good at? Making sure that you're always stocked with resources, and that includes ordinances.
And the best part of that is that we get to layer all that over with almost guaranteed mini arc stars. Missile barrage from Valkyrie gets to put in that work as well. It's so difficult to avoid. It's a wombo combo with these 3, and a terrifying one at that. An excellent point you make about the nades, and it seems like TDM are taking that to heart, throwing out a little mini nade of their own. Rolling Thunder going to cause a lot of problems for NDA in front of them, who are still jumping in to take this fight. The health should favor TDM, but NDA are all over this building, finding little cracks in the wall, and this fight's gone from 0 to 100 real quick as TDM lose a member.
I don't know if we can call that Rolling Thunder, little mini nades. Those are big nades coming in, big explosions coming in out of that Bangalore Ultimate. TDM have the height advantage, but they do not have the numbers advantage. Mati, the first one to go down. That's going to leave Durango and Tony by themselves. That's one of the powers that Seer offers, that ultimate intel. Once that ultimate comes out, you know exactly where your opponents are and are able to collapse so well. Knowledge truly is power, but look at this cheeky angle coming in from Tony, finding the crack within the building and getting so much of value out of this car. He is almost knocking everyone in sight.
NDA are struggling to deal with this, but take a look at the ammunition. Only 13 bullets left in the car, and he goes down. Tony, having been taken out, leaves this all up to Durango, and we have seen a story like this before. NDA are going to be able to get the full Phoenix kit off, and TDM, on an aggressive push, end up going out.
Yeah, I think TDM played that so well. Tony finding that angle with the crack in the building was absolutely masterful. NDA almost had no idea where those shots were coming from, but once when they were able to identify it, they were able to deal with Tony, and again, it still was a 3v2 scenario. That just shows you the power of numbers in that scenario. Tony able to crack players left and right, but eventually, you know, it's 100% versus 100% versus 100%, and you just don't have the numbers to deal with it.
If TDM had been a full 3-man, if they'd had a caustic, most importantly, in that endgame, I think we likely see it going differently. However, with U2 easy, I feel like they could have an infinite amount of players. The Team Faith would still be running them down. Kills get picked up, and Faith just keep the ball rolling, sprinting around in towards where Bunker is, and maybe even actually going a little bit further out into the desert. They're alternating between choices right now, but they'd like to get inside or around Bunker. I'm not sure how they feel about committing to choke points.
Would somebody mind dropping into either Deegs or Messiah's chat? Just let them know that, you know, and Faith as well. Let them know they don't have to be the ones having the kill lead in order to come with the win. I don't know if they know that because they're speed running through the lobby. They're playing just as aggressive as ever did. You would think a team that's in match point would want to slow things down. I think the first time we actually saw the Valkyrie, Caustic, and Gibby meta was when this match point system was actually introduced, and they decided that was a formula for winning the games. But Team Faith, I mean, they are literally getting so aggressive, going after each and every team in their path, and I'm loving watching it.
It's surgical to watch them dismantle squads, and as I'm taking a look around, the next squad that they're going to run into looks like Space Liquid. Over here by Containment, they're the ones cutting off a team like Faith by playing around this most eastern side of the ring. Now that they've moved from Containment, that line between these two squads gets lengthened. The time between when we see these Titans go up against each other, it gets a little bit longer, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, and that would be crazy. The number 1 and 2 squad, the two teams eligible for match point, going at it in a 3v3 gunfight with no place to run. There, I would really want to see that. Meanwhile, on screen, we do have Golden Lotus, who are also doing a bit of gatekeeping themselves, sitting towards that edge of the zone if anybody wants to try to rotate towards them. Still 9 players on the map, 27 players physically there, and we still have our 2 teams match point eligible, ready and here, and we will end up seeing a gunfight between two teams with blue shields and 2 teams fully kitted with purple Golden Lotus. I said it before, they were gatekeeping teams out, but now they are ready to fight.
Using the Horizon Q up, you actually managed to dodge a lot of the defensive bombardment. The interaction between those two abilities working in the favor of Golden Lotus as they take very little DPS, but the caustic gas right back ends up finally hurting them, finally stopping the push. But Milkman wasn't aware, he wasn't let in on that memo, and instead goes on a solo mission, fortunately joined by Double Z. They are going to be able to end up taking down Island Boy, and as he leaves the lobby, Golden Lotus get themselves a little bit more of an advantage. Coach Cosmo goes down. This Golden Lotus still managed to tank up this caustic gas. They're going for the res and playing this last bit with utmost confidence. Milkman out on the side gets joined by Double Z inside the waterfall, and they've still got to find a way to get their downed Gibby back into the game.
Golden Lotus finding that height advantage that they want, but like you said, not able to get their Gibby player out of that situation, and eventually he might end up being thirsted. So hopefully Golden Lotus can survive the situation and either get the revive or at least get the banner. OGs, on the other hand, try to loot up as much as possible, try to get value here before they're able to push out and play the 2v2 against Golden Lotus.
Third party seems like it's going to be coming to full fruition here. The OG is setting up shop with this caustic gas now. A nice timely disengage, and I'm taking a look at the kill feed to see if we get a little bit of a res coming in, but as I do, I'm seeing something else start to come up. We've got action popping off for Space Liquid, and Oyo got eliminated.
It's coming in. That's going to get himself some hit markers here. And Team Faith also dealing with that tier roster with or excuse me, I should say Kubski, formerly known as Pubski here. Seer ult is down. Team Space Liquid going in. They realize that they will be third party by Team Faith eventually. They're trying to introduce themselves to this gunfight here. They have to make sure they play those medkits, make sure they are fully loaded, because here come Team Faith.
Playing around the outside of the building, they've foregone the third party onto Space Liquid, instead opting to clean up some of the kills, giving Space Liquid the time to reset. It's their chance to turn around, and Team Faith instantly disengage, letting the fight continue, letting Space Liquid slowly bleed out as they lose their caustic. Gildersons is down, and Space Liquid as a two-man have to recover. Team Faith re-engaging from the outside. They're just waiting for Space Liquid to get low, to go out. Fun FPS refuses to say die, but two squads will put him down. Team Faith now the only team left on match point.
High IQ play coming out of Team Faith to disengage out of that situation and wait for the right opportunity to fight. I mean, they wanted to deal with that squad, but they say, hey, you know what? If the other team's going to do it for us, who are we to interrupt? Excellently played by Team Faith. Our kill leader, NV Messiah, on screen, able to get himself to red armor. And if they can just deal with two more teams, they can not only take the win in this game, but take the win in the tournament, Dia.
This could be it. It could be Team Faith walking away with 2.2k right here, right now. Only two squads stand in between them and victory, and neither of those are even full. This is the only three-man remaining, unless I'm mistaken. There may be one. No, it's two. Two three-mans and two, am I right? Two rats here. Team Faith going up against Girl for the moment. Need to find a little bit of cover. Nice shield break from Messiah, but Deez ends up going down. Messiah's got to make up this ground. Finds yet another crack, but jumps back down. Behind this Horizon queue, Team Faith may have just thrown away their chance. Somebody needs to cover Deez's res.
Team Girl is the team that they're going up against, and they have such an important role. They have to make sure they deal with Team Faith, because the Team Faith can win this game right here. They take down two. They take down the third one. Team Faith go down. We will not have a winner in this game. We will have at least one more game thanks to Team Girl.
Team Girl taking control of their destiny as well. It's exactly what Kappa was saying, giving this team a little bit more of a lifeline, letting them pick up that next potential win, certainly enough points to put them on match point, and then having to double down on a scouting mission. You folks looking for Milkman out here, who is very far away. I'm not actually sure if this is going to be spotted or if Girl are just going to have to wait, because Golden Lotus aren't going to give up these kills easily. It doesn't look like this was picked up on Valkyrie sonar, so the hunt is on. It's hide and seek.
I mean, at this point, I don't even know how much this really matters in the grand scheme of things. Like, legitimately, Team Girl could just walk into the storm and go and actually go off, because this win, they can't net a win here. No matter what, they're guaranteed at least match point eligible, but they cannot win the tournament. Meanwhile, Golden Lotus, I don't know if they're in position to even get to match point. So in the grand scheme of things, this battle really isn't all that important. But in a 3v1 scenario, I'm gonna assume Team Girl come out on top, and eventually they find that player, deal with them quickly, and we are going into another game where we have at least 3 teams that are eligible to win this tournament.
Really impressive stuff by Team Girl. Well, the last kill may have felt a little bit anticlimactic. The fight for second or third place was anything but. Seeing them go up against Team Faith, seeing how quickly that fight went from good to terrible for Faith, and watching Girl press that advantage, it was the instinct of a predator, the instinct of a savage, the instinct of someone gone wild. If you're looking to get wild yourself, I can only recommend that you can feed your wild side with the original protein and level up your snack game over at jacklinks.ca. How's that for a transition? Why not?
Very well done. Very well done. That's why you're a professional. I said it before the game started. Team Girl were the most important team in the lobby. They were sitting outside of that match point eligibility. They had to make sure that they take things into their own hands, and they did exactly that. Like you said, quickly dealing with Team Faith. And although they didn't need the win at that point, Team Girl needed to go into that game saying, we need this win. Otherwise, Team Faith or NDA will steal this tournament. They make themselves match point eligible. They get the win, even when the spotlight was brightest on them.
We're going to find out which team ends up taking match point away, surely, as our top 3 teams now are all equally eligible. While we do that, I'm going to take a minute and consult with my compatriots about this question. How about you and I go backstage and talk this up a little bit, because I have no idea what's going on here. We're going to be right back with Game 5 of the Jack Links tournament right after this.
Jack Links presents Messin' with Sasquatch.
Watch this.
Don't mess with other snacks. Choose Jack Links jerky made with 100% beef. Jack Links presents Messin' with Sasquatch.
Watch this.
Don't mess with other snacks. Choose Jack Links jerky made with 100% beef.
Come on. Come down here
What's up?
and take a seat. We've got plenty more action coming your way, and it could potentially be the last of the games today. Time shall tell. The World Side Rumble from Jack Links and featuring Apex Legends. Before we get into the breakdown of the narrative so far, which legends come from the same planet? It's going to be Octane, Lifeline, Horizon, and Loba. And hopefully, if you knew that, you know they're all from Olympus. So, yeah. You got the facts in you. If you don't, you do now. And all of the Apex lore, more and more, will be coming your way throughout the day. But from Apex lore to the current score, let's talk about it. Let's see where the teams are at. Dia, Tony, what are we looking at right now?
Well, I'm going to start this one off. We're looking at 3 teams on match point. That's what we're looking at. Team Faith,
Yes.
Space Liquid, and GuhRL are all just 1 win away from being able to take the largest part of this Jack Links prize pool home.
That is absolutely insane. And something tells me if I was a betting man, I love OYO. I love ND. I think they played excellent last week, and also Sad and Loner in the lobby as well. However, if I was a betting man, I'm putting money on the fact that this tournament is going to end at this game. I think this tournament, we will be crowning a winner in game number 5.
Now, I know that I ended up going with Team Faith, and why not? I believe it was you that went with Space Liquid. Kappa, is it too much to ask? Is it too much to ask to get you in Team Girl's corner? So we got 3 people covering it. Does it speak to your heart?
You know it does, and I'm glad you asked that question. You did the reverse hot seat sweep. I'm going to call that from the caster analyst desk portion, because you should have, and kudos, golden star for you. I have been a Team Girl fan since the off, since the rip. I'm not a big fan of Caustic. I think Tony and I dabbled on that yesterday, where it's definitely a niche style of gameplay to have the Caustic and maybe go into the Skull with the line of canisters. But I'm not sure if we're going to see that again for this matchup. But for Go overall, they're tenacious, they are hungry, they have an appetite for destruction, and even an appetite for the meat, which for this one, for the Jack Links World Rumble tournament, is going to be that grand prize. It's there. It's possible. They're going to be jacked up after that last game as well. No pun intended on that one. That's the first one. It's not intended. But they came off of a win just gone. I think they're in the right position to go towards that W, but time will tell, really. I don't know what else to say. It's been such an even battle where anyone could take this, and that's why it's been so damn fun to cast.
I really enjoy the point there just about the Caustic, because we are seeing these really aggressive squads, right, that do run, like Team Faith, these hyper-mobile comps, and yet, while Team GuhRL are playing at the same pace as everyone else, their legend choice doesn't lead me to believe that that would at least initially be their strength.
This is my favorite part.
And that's it, isn't it? It's crazy to see aggressive players use passive legends to utilize in their playstyle, to broaden their horizons, and just completely bamboozle us and bamboozle everyone in the lobby. No bamboozles, not expecting to see a Mirage in this lobby. But let's talk about the GPS coordinates. Where are these teams landing right now, Thea?
I'm watching Rig, that's for sure. It's been our hot drop multiple times in a row, and it looks like history may be repeating itself. Sad and Alone so frequently start off a fight over there, but in the meantime, it seems like Artillery's ended up landing first, and Golden Lotus, our second place team from last game, are now going to be fighting for their lives again. We've seen this story before, Kappa.
Oh, we have. Do you know how this story ends? Well, only if you're writing the script, but there's no script here at TGS. There's no scripts for the World Rumble. It's all wild, it's all random, and it is all getting kicked off already.
Sad and Alone find a few shots from a distance. They're trying to control the length of this engagement, make it in their favor, but going up against the R301, things are not that easy. I'd like to see Sad and Alone disengage, head towards containment, where we, from a third-party perspective, know that nobody actually landed.
Have a little mosey through. He's going to be Golden Lotus, trying to see what's hiding under this vehicle, what's hiding in this chest. Well, a little bit of an upgrade. It's good to have the mag extension. Elongate some engagements perhaps for Golden Lotus, but let's have a look at TDM. TDM, what a finish they had in that last game. We're going to get right into it immediately.
And as soon as they do, Hybrid Theory go out. That was a crazy burst. You talk about the value of extended mags. The car being able to utilize both heavy and light puts in a lot of work right there. And Maddie, Tony, and Durango now find themselves in a much better position to be able to turn this into a potential win. Because remember, they would have to take away the game from one of 3 match point eligible squads: Faith, Space Liquid, and GuhRL.
Level 4.
Great reminder. And that's where things can get a bit confusing. Even the teams in the lobby. It's like, where are we sitting? Who are we competing against? And when you come down to those individual gunfights, is this a team that we need to take out? Or is it a team we can maybe re-engage from? More frags coming in. Tony, not to be confused with our Tony. Why not be reckless? The Tony in the server, delivering some frags on the feed.
Durango Legend with some really nice headshots as well. You want to control both angles, but you don't want to give up a flank. It's a tough battle, and Durango ends up going for the flank decision. Now maybe jumping back to Matty, getting jumped on himself.
Ooh,
It's a door he can utilize here, but he doesn't go for it instead. Getting devoed down. It's Tony against the world right now, and TDM, they will survive once more.
Ooh, Team Tony to the win for TDM. Does that T stand for Tony and TDM? Because it should.
It does. It definitely does, actually.
Thank God.
Yeah, Tony, Durango, Matty. It's TDM. It's nice.
Love it. Tony representing, getting things done, and I think this is the hottest Tony we've seen so far. Definitely has got some spicy frags over the past couple of days, but that one gets kill leader, and that could be what TDM needs to start soaring them towards the top of those leaderboards on day 2.
Want to get towards match point right now, and it does require a little bit of, well, briefing as well. If TDM want to actually make it to the lion's share of this prize pool, they've got to find a way to incentivize action around Kings Canyon, and not just action that they're a part of. A really big portion of how you're able to stall out games like this has to be in incentivizing third parties, beginning fights and backing out just as other teams start to arrive. We actually saw several teams do this really well last game, and I'd like to see that playstyle replicated by TDM if they want a shot.
That is like the next echelon, the next level of high-tier gameplay for Apex when you single it down. Yeah, you've got to poke the bear, but not completely instigate and fight the bear. Just poke the bear and run away. It's like playing tag as a kid. That's what you've got to do to kind of instigate some problems in the server and make other teams' lives hell.
Speaking of, we've got Fire about to try and find an engagement of their own. Since we've got Island Boy popping the Bloodhound ultimate, it seems like instead this is more of an attempt at a disengagement. You have to wonder who on earth is behind them if they are running like this. Island Boy gets that second scan down. You are so safe, lads. Take a chill pill. Find some shields because, oh my lord, Apex is stressful. It doesn't need to be this stressful.
It looked like they were sweating. There was sweat dripping onto their controllers, onto their keyboards as they ran away. In the Beast of the Hunt as well, not very often, you're right, that you see a fleeing player on their ultimate like that. It must have been Team Girl, it must have been Team Faith or Space Liquid chasing them their tail. Love this positioning right here now from Girl though, speaking of Girl.
Yeah, I mean, we got the fight over at Cage. Really nice use of the vertical mobility, right? It's interesting to note that Girls actually swapped onto the Valkyrie this time, leaving DipQ to be the one on this Caustic. Still a mobile squad, but still with that defensive capability as well. But right now, they're facing up with the problem that an equally mobile squad, Pathfinder, Octane, Horizon, refuse to leave them alone.
Reporters, there's a bully in the server. A team's being bullied, but they're starting to bully back, Girl. Trying to send out some rounds from a distance here. Not ideal when it comes to the repeater. Are you a fan of the repeater?
Oh, I am. I've actually noticed it getting picked up a lot more in competitive play, and people are sleeping on this gun. Let me tell you, it's as good, if not better, than a wingman in, I'm gonna say, at least 50% of situations.
Are you talking late game as well, though? Because early game, sure, you could get a repeater out, but you're talking late game using a repeater? Take some aim, but...
I see what you're saying. Late game gets tough, especially because it gets really close. But in situations like this, right, all entirely through the mid game, through zones, I want to say 1 through perhaps 4, 30-30 puts out a lot of value, and Girls getting that value right now.
Oh, they are. Just chip damage after chip damage. And that goes back to what you said earlier. You've got to just instigate some other issues. You said about that perhaps for some teams aspiring to get to that top 3 or that top 2. But that goes for all teams for these later games. Poke the bear. Don't bite off more than you can chew. No one likes too much jerky that they can't bite off.
And Space Liquid right now, they're looking for that perfectly bite-sized bit of jerky. Little do they know they could just head over to jacklinks.ca and find some. Instead, they're wandering around Kings Canyon that is unfortunately jerky-less. What are they doing?
That's insanity. That could be criminal. That could be criminal. Sorry, I was choking on my coffee with the beef and the jerky buns. Production, you've been so on point. Keeping it fun for us, for the chat, for the players as well. And you can feel those vibes in the server. There's been nothing but electric plays all weekend long, and more electric plays I should say, coming in from Space Liquid with these sky shots.
Not landing anything just yet. Fun FPS needs to feed his wild side. It can't quite get it going. It's starved after 6 games today. Space Liquid need that extra little bit of a push, and for right now, it means them sitting on the side of the ring, trying to get involved from a distance, but without that charge rifle that Fun FPS has looked so good with.
Yeah, that charge rifle has been, I think, the most dangerous weapon in the server. Sure, we've seen some of the crazy plays with the Kraber to mention. We've seen some up-close and personal plays with perhaps an R301, but the charge rifle in particular, such a niche rifle to use, and it's been used so clinically today.
A large part of that really in the center of this map is the contributor being that, there's just so much open space, especially here in an engagement like this. Think about what you're doing. If that's a charge rifle aiming at you, R301 already very difficult. Look at the bubble that's already been expended. Fortunately, you've got a little bit of vertical cover from things like this Rolling Thunder, but things are not looking good, especially if you're eating shots from Team Faith that are increasingly getting closer and closer to the action.
Players falling into the canyon. Beware, that canyon will eat you alive if the bullets don't first. Pressure, the pushing, going towards the middle, and what's going on?
Jansport Backpack, they're going down. That's what's happening. We have got a 3-man squad that are hungry on the side, and Oyo are one of them. Going up against seemingly Team Faith, given the speed of the cut. Maybe Oyo trying to keep themselves in contention for match points. They are in 4th place right now, the next squad to be eligible if this game continues.
It's looking like it will. Every team just clawing, grabbing, not letting go of any opportunity for them to climb up the ranks here. Team Faith, one of those teams on match point, looking to have an appetite, but not to get greedy at the buffet here in this last game potential.
Oh, Messiah instantly panicked gravity lift to get out there, got shot from Repulsor, and miraculously manages to survive. A shield bat going off right now, but an ingenious wraparound from Team Faith very quickly turned on its head, and now they've got to back off to this low ground, still trying to get access to the center of the ring where Team Girl sits atop their tower.
That was excellent use of Burglars. That really was. Just get me out right now, and that's it. A get out of jail free card enables that reset. Enable some replication to go on as well. As though they need more attachments, as though they need more armor. They're just stacking everything up here, Team Faith.
Yeah, they're pretty ridiculously kitted out right now. A big part of that having to do with just how much ground they've covered. Anything that they need, they've had ample time to pick up, especially through all the unlooted POIs inside of Kings Canyon right now. We've had a lot of people heading directly towards the action, passing over spots like Containment, even Market, that are getting treated like they hold dirt, when in fact, they've got incredible loot.
Give me the loot, give me the loot. That's what they'll be chanting, I'm sure, in the chat. Loving it. Just stacking up everything possible. Space Liquid as well. Just looking good. Just looking really comfortable. A longbow. I think that's the first time I've seen one in quite a few games, actually.
Yeah, it's been the first time for Fun to pick this up. Didn't quite land the shots with it earlier, but apparently is starting to dial it in, starting to level that discipline up to be able to take the game. Team Faith, in the meantime, play disciplines themselves. The Burglar's Bracelet going to get Faith out of trouble for just a moment, caught on that tree. But now Team Faith needs to turn this around, because though they don't have to win fights in order to win the game, they do have to survive this engagement, and NDA don't seem keen on letting them do so.
Yeah, they're going out fighting everything with fire. They've got the boxing gloves on. They do not know what keeping peace is, and they're going to disturb the peace over and over again. Seer coming up with the ult as well. Can NDA do something about this?
Interrupt on the heels, doesn't get any value. NDA end up losing one. Pugski shooting up at the sky, cannot seem to land anything, but Team Faith have lost one as well. NDA lose a second,
no.
and Team Faith are turning this around. Morbid takes up to the sky, and from above ends up finding a crack, finding flesh. He's turning this slowly but surely as Team Faith from afar manage the distance between them and the shotgun and manage to survive.
Oh, I'm riddled with goosebumps after that one, because I thought that was NDA's. I thought we were going to another game. Team Faith sweating, dripping off their brow. They mop that brow clean, and they're clean for another play.
That was a really heads-up play as well. I think a lot like we saw in their 2 versus 3 to victory, recognizing that with a shotgun, the biggest ally that you can have is the distance between you and the end of that barrel. 2 players both really smart play to, instead of flank, just back up together, recognize that you are in the better position. You've got the Horizon gravity lift if things get to that, and that is the kind of discipline that have gotten Faith this far. With Team Girl now pushing into this central location, we could see a clash between these 2 squads. They are only separated by this thick chunk of rock in the center, and that's not going to be in zone for very much longer.
I love that you talk about the zone. Let's talk about that. As you just see, round 3 chiming in to be closing in. Time for teams to start thinking, debating, assessing what they need to do to get them into a better position. Girl, looking for frags, as well as looking for that positioning and placement. They are fearless, dear.
Yeah, we are about to pop into our 3rd round, or rather our 4th round. That's just finishing off right now, round 3. Coming to a close. I'm looking ahead, however, to the 5th. See that little green circle on the mini-map? The thing that's catching my eye about that is mostly to do with the fact that there's a rule in Apex Legends. No more than 50% of the zone can be unplayable. It's hard-coded into the game. And in this specific case, that still remains true, despite the rock formations that are included inside of this circle. But what it means is that when we go to Zone 5, we're really going to Zone 6, because we're coming up on that 50%.
Straight up.
Look at all of the rocks that we've got. With all of that, you've got a lot to worry about when it comes to being one of these 10 teams likely to get whittled down to 5. We're going to get a chaotic ring after this one starts closing. 1 minute 30 until we get a grand calling of teams, Kappa. We're going to go from 10 to 5 or less.
Oh yeah, I love that call. I love the comms and the insights that you dropped to this stream. You're so right, and the hard-coded factor, that wasn't to my knowledge, but that does make sense. The worst part about that, though, is within those crevices of the canyon, all you can imagine if you just theorycraft to the future, there's going to be caustic canisters everywhere. There's going to be bombardments everywhere. How are you going to last in that scenario? I just don't know. And I don't think that's the problem right now because there's an engagement coming on Space Liquid.
Yeah, Space Liquid have got to deal with this. They haven't set themselves up for these short-range engagements. Just the Mastiff for fun FPS. No alternate weapon, so they do pop a very quick res, and Rad Boys get eliminated. A Phoenix kit takes 10 seconds, and Space Liquid may not have that. Scouting out from a distance, Fun FPS is going to buy them that time by laying down the cover fire with this longbow. But you've got to imagine with the next ring coming in, this longbow we've got to say goodbye to.
See you later, Alligator. Take him out.
Ultimate accelerant here.
Ultrasaurant being offered as well to the team of Space Liquid, trying to bolster up their resources, bolster up their ultimates for what I think, to go into what you mentioned, from that 9 potentially to 5 teams. It's on the verge of it. It's just a matter of time. It's like a ticking time bomb.
12 seconds left exactly on that bomb. On FPS, dealing with yet another squad trying to encroach on their territory. This could very well have been Team Girl, though we won't get that confirmation. But FPS is going to feel the hurt, likely taking to the skies to be able to challenge this. Squad flying in above as slowly but surely that ring's going to start to close in. You can see Team Faith starting to fly in as well over to the open territory. Yet another squad that's going to be looking for a fight, and Space Liquid take this slow. They take it controlled, but they keep the longbow to play from a distance. It's a risky call. We'll see how it pays off.
Risk it. Risking it for more than a chocolate biscuit. Risking it for thousands of dollars here, these teams. Team Faith taking less risks perhaps than we've seen them take organically in these previous games, because a lot more's on the line here. They're on match point and they're just scanning. They're on the prowl, but not as hungry as perhaps they once were.
The difference of $1,000 for Team Faith. Whether they win this game or whether another squad on match point takes it away from them. We jump down to 8 squads now as Fire gets taken out. Next lobby starting to close, or next ring starting to close, and Messiah does him dirty with that gravity lift. He gets taken out though.
2 players down.
Low as well, and Faith is going to have to clutch this up for the team if they want a shot at that extra $1,000. Does get the nice flatline beam, but the shotgun, there's no space to back off on. Team Faith get taken out, and they are relegated to, in the best case scenario for them, 2nd place now. They've got to rely on another team extending this game, leaving them on to match point.
That's possible though. That's plausible. There's 6 teams. There are 6 squads active currently. 13 players to boot with that as well. Anything's possible here. That is the beauty of the match point setup, of the match point format.
Girls team is starting to get going. We saw Chaotic Much take out yet another player, yet another squad. 5 teams left as the OGs end up leaving us. And just around the corner, Space Liquid are waiting. Chaotic Much getting taken down by them. 25 HP left, but Space Liquid are chasing. They can eliminate their only competition for victory in match point. But Girl managed to disengage effectively. Look at the caustic barrels that we laughed about earlier, that we wondered what was going on with. Now providing them value from in defense of Space Liquid.
How? How do they keep getting such value out of Caustic? It's Caustic! Some players, some teams, some orgs might have seen a limitation on this legend, but not for this roster.
Space Liquid
Something else.
We're in danger of getting ooped on. Timer would run out, however, 15 seconds left, so Space Liquid have got to imagine this didn't work out. The other squad isn't coming their way. A really nice call-in of the respawn beacon for Space Liquid to provide them with a little bit more cover from the zone. They'll keep their eyes on 2 places, the sky and in front of them. Valkyrie, the only way to really disrupt the positioning from Space Liquid, but the front is where they are going to turn what is otherwise a peaceful canyon into a meat grinder.
Yeah, this is going to be a meat grinder. Perhaps some jerky will come out the other side. It's going to be a spicy one. It'll definitely be jalapeno. Perhaps pepper, with the amount of peppered bullets that are going to be peppering through these canyons.
Ooh, I feel an 18 coming up on the pun counter with that one. I really liked that pepper. There it is. We do have just a little while left. 30 seconds until these teams are forced together. Neither one of them wanting to engage. Space Liquid are going to play this slow, but with both these teams having to round the corner on their right, Space Liquid are going to be battling for control of caustic traps. That is the biggest thing in this engagement. People want to lay down caustic traps inside of the choke and have them be theirs. And Space Liquid are going to have a tough time doing it with Girls Squad.
This is going to be so tense. You can feel the tension. No teams are pushing right now. They're just jiggle peeking, trying to get a little bit of vision, but they're not really going in full force. That full force antics that we've seen all tournament long. 4 teams.
Cooldowns right now. Defensive bombardment available for what you imagine is both squads. On FPS doesn't find any damage initially. One crack could lead to a win here. Is this a to the skies? Are we redeploying right now? Space Liquid could take that risk. They could go out of bounds to try and finish this game.
Just
We'll
a heads
dial
up
in
as
their
well,
strat.
mate. There's 1 rat left as well. I just look at the numbers here. 10 players, 4 squads. That's 369, so potential maybe a couple of rattier teams there. Lucky on the outskirts.
Defensive bombardment gets a lot of value onto Team Girl. Space Liquid will not be redeploying at this time. They cancel the cooldown, leaving Fun FPS behind.
Girl.
Everybody else looks for different angles.
No, Girl.
Now getting flanked. This is a problem. They're still alive for right now, but Space Liquid are putting in work. Fun FPS holding down this corner alone, now having to deal with an incredible singularity. Girl have lost 1, but they are still in this game. Space Liquid are mind controlling them, forcing them out of this choke, and the caustic gas is just too much. It's ticking away at Chaotic Munch. He goes down, and Girl has to take to the skies to avoid any further action. Space Liquid are still dealing with the consequences, though. Defensive bombardment has expired. They've got this game in their hands. 3 squads left. The wingman goes crazy. Fun FPS is propping the team up, and Retired Bronzy and Guild look towards the skies. Spot Girl coming down. Take him out and whip out the shotguns at close range. We're down to 2 squads. 1 squad left now as Space Liquid unleash their wild side in the Jack Links Rumble.
What a performance! What a closure in the canyons! The canyons of death, as it would turn to be. I'm speechless.
Incredible game.
What a finish!
That was not something that looked like it was going to be easy for Space Liquid, but as we got further and further into that end game, they did not look shaken, they did not look stirred at all around that corner. Team Girl didn't seem to have a chance at the end.
No, they didn't. Tony, from your seat, talk to us. What did you see?
I saw Space Liquid assert their dominance on the map and towards that end game. Team Girl were playing it so lights out, and Team Girl were looking very good to maybe come out on top, but eventually,
sure.
I think it was at one point Diaz said it, that as the storm was coming in, it was Team Space Liquid that just kept them out, dropping that caustic ult and raining down arc stars. They ultimately didn't stand a chance when they're in the middle of nades, ultimate, and even the storm. Space Liquid just simply waited for the right time to strike. They knew exactly what they wanted to accomplish, and at that point it was all about execution, and executing they did.
I want to call out one of the really big differences in this end game as well.
Please.
We talked so much about the caustic, but we, in the end game, had to pay attention to the fact that Space Liquid had Gibraltar and Girl did not. Being able to use the bubble for a quick reset, being able to use the defensive bombardment to weaken Team Girl and put them on the back foot were the deciding variables for Space Liquid in that end game.
They most certainly were, Dia. And I think all of that final game, we just saw, and I say not just the final game, the final day, we've seen a build-up of more strategy, and more strategy that has painted this picture of there's so many ways to utilize these legends in Apex, and I really do feel we're just getting started of seeing these new dynamics form.
Yeah, we really are. I mean, we saw already, taking a look at Team Faith, how their own composition ended up working in their favor when they got stuck in a tight situation. Hyper mobility for Team Faith, almost the polar opposite for Space Liquid, who went with the what I'm affectionately calling the GOATs of Apex, with the Gibraltar, Caustic, and Valkyrie.
Yeah, it really is the GOATs. And Tony, we spoke about Caustic earlier perhaps not being our forte when we jump into the server, but it really was cool to see how you can see aggression combined with that passive util of a legend like Caustic, how impactful it was today.
Caustic and Gibby's value simply goes up and up as this circle gets smaller and smaller. It's just how it happens. We talk about it all the time, and that especially happens with Gibby. When you have no space to try to create, no space to try to close the gap on your opponent, what does that bubble do? It allows you to create that space. It allows you to close the gap. When you're getting assaulted on by grenades and raining down, where can you put that cover out of nowhere? It's with Gibby. And then as that circle gets smaller, if you want to punish your opponent from playing in that open field, for using that early bubble of your own, what do you need? You need a Gibby of your own, and to drop that defensive bombardment. And it's, you know, it's very similar with Caustic as well. Value as that circle gets smaller and as the end game gets closer and closer, it's usually Gibby and Caustic that will prevail.
I do want to say we saw some excellent Horizon play today as well. And I know that this does not counter the point at all. Caustic, Gibraltar, insane value. We actually see it happen right here. It's what takes down Team Faith. But in so many of the mid-game skirmishes, I love that these different playstyles came to a head, because while we're seeing endgame get a lot of value out of Gibby Caustic, things like the Horizon and the Loba provided so much in the mid-game to teams that wanted to frag out.
They did, and it just gives much kudos, much pats on the back to the current meta of Apex, right? Where you're seeing teams from tier 1 to T whatever, just using so many different theories of strategy of, okay, if we use Caustic, we can take away room. If we use Gibraltar, we can make room. And still, both of these tactics, as an example, or the Loba, or the Ash, or the Wraith. In fact, we didn't see too many Wraith plays over the weekend. I'm actually kind of shocked, to be honest, guys.
Yeah, I mean, we actually almost forgot Wraith. I remember we were discussing the answer to how many legends did Apex launch with, and almost none of us brought up Wraith. Tony, thank God for saving us, by the way. but I think it's because of the lack of presence today, right? Things like the Ash were prioritized in the case of, like, legends that can use portals that can get you from place to place quickly, just because of the speed there. Wraith is so much more of a calculated legend, much more one built for comp, it seems.
For comp, perhaps for like a static roster, and we did have some mix-up rosters here today. We had Liquid mixed in with some other players. We had some streamer dream team kind of rosters coming in as well. You saw it all here at the Jack Links Worldside Rumble. Let's talk about the final stand-ins. I see a number 1 next to Space Liquid. Let's talk about that. 91 points, kill points 47, placement points 44 on day number 2. Team Faith, so close, yet so far.
Yeah, although Team Faith and Grow were able to put up 53 kill points apiece between the two of them, and Team Faith was able to match them in total kills. It's the match point system that we were working on. So Liquid were able to get to that 60 points. So was Faith, and so was Team Girl. But it was only one team that pulled off the win in the end game, and that was Space Liquid. And you know, I'm not one of those guys to say I told you so. You know, I would never go out there and say, you know, out of the three of us, we had picked one each of the big three, and one of us picked Space Liquid. I would never do that. So I'm just gonna pass it on to you, Cuppa.
This guy, you know what? I dropped the mic, pal. Drop the mic, Tony, because you deserve to. Good comms on that. Team Girl, maybe I had a bit of copium, hoping that they would come through and get the dub, but regardless, I feel like we've had such a treat on our hands today. Dia, how are you feeling on the aftermath, the post-mortem of the entire tournament?
I'm feeling really good. I actually was really impressed by what we saw today, because while we're looking at Space Liquid and we're talking about, you know, the fact that they're built up of a bunch of different teams in the competitive scene, we're giving a lot of this to their competitive experience. You see it in the placement points. But to have a squad like Team Faith able to actually being able to keep up with them in the points, largely due to their kills, I think sort of re-emphasizes that this wasn't the end-all be-all, that Team Faith could have done it, and that Team Girl were so ridiculously close, making it into those top 3. What I love is competition, great competition and close games, and we got that today.
We did. It was bang on the money for that. Off of the entire tournament, I'm going to put you guys on the hot seat. I'm trying to be better about this, and it makes better content as well, doesn't it? Any memorable moments that you guys will be taking away into your next week before you jump back into an Apex server? I think for me, I'm going to steal a moment from one that you both had a nice chuckle over, was that Phoenix kit clutch moment. There's something about that. The hype that y'all got behind that was electrifying. I wasn't even casting. I was in the back seat, and I loved it. And that's just one of the small things that we saw from Team Faith, from Girl, from Space Liquid across this tournament. Anything else that's memorable for y'all that you'll be excited and celebrating next week?
Yeah, I actually had one from when you two were on the mic, watching Bronzy pull off a Kraber headshot in, I think it was Hydro Dam, on top of the pipes. That was both peak gameplay and peak comedy to me, because Bronzy, remember, he has it in the name, 3 times retired, very clearly demonstrating that his geriatric fingers can still play the game.
Are we going to have a topical shot? Look at this. Go on, Tony.
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give an honorable mention to Fun, teaching me that if you have a charge rifle on the ground, you can empty out your charge rifle, then pick up the one on the ground, and yours is automatically reloaded, and your attachments are already on it. I think that was sick. That would be my honorable mention. But when it comes to the moment of the tournament, like, to me, it has to go to Team Faith that was able to pull off the 2v3 against NDA in the end game to win it. Like, that's like, pulling off 2v3s is already hard enough, but to do it against a team as experienced as their opponents to come out on top was absolutely insane. They really earned that win. Like I said, I talk about isolating your opponent. I talked about, finding their momentary lapse in comms, them having, obviously a lot more shields than you do, and just all the things that come to execute, and then the clutch factor, all the things to come together to execute that 2v3 was absolutely incredible. As we come to a close, why don't we get your final thoughts, and also let the fans know where they can find you. Couple, we'll start with you.
Of course. I'll give thanks, and then we'll go to we'll do all the tags. And great pass, Tony. First of all, thanks, jacklinks.ca. You have put on, I want to say, one of the most fun Apex tournaments I've had an opportunity to take part in. Thank you so much, TGS, Jordan, and the crew backstage. You have made this, I think, fun for the casters and for the audience. So much obliged. At Cupperfrag on all socials. You'll see it down below. And from there, I'm going to pass that way and give it back to you. Wait, I
catch it. Wait, I catch it.
It goes over Tony's shoulders. You got it?
Yeah. Okay, I got it. The camera angle not quite wide enough. Believe, Chad. Believe that I caught it. You guys can find me, of course, on esports_dia at, I want to say all socials, but I really only have Twitter, so esports_dia, and that's it. And that's how you can keep up with all the other Apex action that we cover, because I cover a lot of Apex action. And that's me. I enjoyed getting to unleash my wild side along you guys today.
All right, and I mean, as far as we got the pun counter coming in for the even 20. Thank you guys so much for you guys for being excellent casters. Production was absolutely on point. Like you said, one of the most fun tournaments that I've ever casted. Jack Links for putting up the prize pool. We're talking $4,500. Absolutely insane. You guys in the chat for making some noise, and the competitors for putting on a show. I'm Why Not Be Reckless, aka Why Not Be Cast. I'm kind of a freaking big deal. You should already know by now. If you want to catch me, I'm usually casting HCS. I'm a content creator and caster for Esports Arena, and I stream every day, 10 o'clock in the morning. And hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
Jack Links presents Messin' with Sasquatch.
Watch this.
Don't mess with other snacks. Choose Jack Links jerky made with 100% beef. Jack Links presents Messin' with Sasquatch.
Watch this.
Don't mess with other snacks. Choose Jack Link's jerky made with 100% beef.